happening? We're back. A rare Wednesday show. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Hope everybody out there is well. What's happening in Scotland, Robert? Rabow. Rabow. Where are you, Rabow? Where in this deep, dark world are you tuning in from? Ray Hogan, what's happening? Yeah. Rest in peace, Peter Fluid from 24/7 Spies. I'm sure they're going to solve what's behind his demise there. I saw some footage this morning. Oof, horrible. Horrible. Hey, Dominic, how's Brooklyn? Oh, yeah. Oh, a Brooklyn guy on the show today. Thanks for tuning in. Berlin, Germany, my man. Come on now. My kind of town, Berlin, Germany. Had some good times in Berlin back in the day. Yo, Ryan Bland, what's happening? Come on now. Coming down on Sunday, Ryan? Big banger. Thorsten, what's up? Oh, thank you. The show with Matt from Noise was great. He was great. And the show that I'm talking about, which is happening here in New York City on this Sunday, is free. It's Noise, Incendiary Device, American Eagle, Brass Knuckle Brigade, and Tear Gas at not the Bowery Electric, but Berlin. That's we've been doing some shows at Berlin. So if you're in New York, come down. It's free. If it's free, it is for me. Hey, John, how are you, bro? Hope things are well in the UK. Joe Frank, my man, are you excited? Hey, did you hear? Joe Frank's coming to town with his band Prize Fighter. They're playing with the Undead on Sunday, February 16th at Berlin. There you go. Hey, Scott Earth, you getting ready to do those background vocals for the Incendiary Device record, bro? The call's coming in soon. Yeah, you got to support the Brooklyn guys, Dominic, for sure. Hey, John in London, good. What's happening? Yep. Yeah. Cool, good. Oh, hello from Cape Cod, Lori Dawn. Is it cold on the Cape? Hey, you know what? Lori, I thought of you. This one goes, you know what? I had a moment, you know. I saw, you'll get a kick out of this, Lori. Does anybody know who this is? Not who the actress is, but does anyone know who this character is? Anybody? Who is this? Come on. Let's hear it. Who is that? Who is that? Come on. Somebody's got to know. Okay. Listen. Yes. We know it's Barbara Eden. That's a given. But what character is she playing on the show? Right? What character is she playing on the show? Right? No, you are wrong. This is not Jeannie. This is not. It is I Dream of Jeannie, but she's not playing Jeannie in this character. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, right. Everyone's like, that's right. It's I Dream of Jeannie's evil twin. That's right, Ryan. It's her evil twin sister. That's right. And I saw this. That's right. It's her. I saw this picture the other day, and I was taken aback. I thought for a second it looked like my fiance, actually. And then I realized that I always had a thing for Jeannie's evil sister. You know, she was evil. You know, she was bad, you know? And basically, my fiance, Rochelle, looks a lot like Jeannie's evil sister. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, this could be Rochelle. So there you go. My childhood crush has come. Right? You see that? You see what I'm talking about? I'm like, holy shit, is that Rochelle? I'm like, no, that's Jeannie's evil sister. I'm like, oh shit, I get it now. My whole quest in life was just to get with Jeannie's evil sister. You know? Yeah, she would try to seduce Major Nelson. Exactly. It comes full circle, man. You know? Listen, if it wasn't Jeannie's evil sister, I'd probably be with like Marsha Brady or something. You know? That said, she is. She's hard. Hey, Fuzz. Hey, Fuzz, hang in there. We're going to bring our guest on. We're going to talk about the awards, the music awards. So that said, you know what? Maybe I should bring him on. And my fantasies come true. A lot of my fantasies have come true. I live in a fantasy world. Look, I once had a fantasy that someday I was going to host a show, and I'm going to have, be in touch with people around the world, and people are going to support me and love what I do, and I'm going to love what I. Wow, here I am. You know, good idea. Buy Rochelle a genie costume. Yeah. Hey, baby, will you put this on? She would. She would. She's a gamer. You know. That said, hey Enzo, what's happening, man? What's up, James? That said, I think we just covered a lot, and you know, if Rochelle's watching, I'm going to hear it later. Let's see. Do I have any other current events? Oh yeah, just real quick. You know, this is a pre-production shot, but for those that are interested in this sort of thing, Incendiary Devices in the recording studio. We just laid down basic tracks to 11 new songs. So looking forward to getting it out there. Been doing vocals and stuff like that, you know. That said, let's bring our guest on. Just once again, rest in peace, Peter Fluid from 24/7 Spies, who they found was, apparently murdered, which is very sad. But I think they're going to figure this out, because I saw they had some security footage, and they see this other car and people come in and out. They're going to figure that one out. So that's right. And congratulations to our friend and supporter of the show, Rob Dukes, who is back fronting Exodus. So that's pretty cool. Good for Dukes. He's a good guy. He's hung in there. I know they split. He was pretty upset when they split. So I'm happy for Rob Dukes. That said, Andrew Ray, man, hey, long time. Welcome back. Good to see you. This one goes out to Andrew Ray. All right. That said, let's bring our guest on. Here we go. Oh, today's guest is a music and film culture documentarian hailing from Brooklyn, New York. He's one of the driving forces behind the Delta Bravo Urban Exploration Team, who explore and document film, music, pop culture, and true crime sites around the world. Here today to share with us some of his greatest adventures, please welcome, coming at us from Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, Mr. Jimmy Ferrari. Hey, man.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me, Drew.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course, anytime.
How's Bay Ridge?
Your intro makes me, I feel fancy.
You're a happening guy now on this show.
Am I? All right.
You're happening. Everybody from around the world. Hey, Mimi, what's up?
Mimi rules. Shout out to Mimi. Fuck it.
Yeah, shout out to Mimi and Fug It.
Yeah.
How's things in Bay Ridge?
Same old shit. Life is pretty consistent, minus all my road trip adventures. I go to work, I do my thing, self-sufficient, and I took a half a day off of work from you, so you should feel special.
Good, I do.
Yeah.
I want to ask you. Now I see Ralph out there. Tell me about what's going on here.
That was the Extreme Music Awards, bro. That was last weekend. That was awesome. Shout out to Big Mike Valenti. I had him on the podcast, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And about a week later, he asked me if I wanted to be a judge. I'm like, sure. Like, what am I going to do? Like, hold up like cards? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I voted on a whole bunch of stuff, and he invited me up there. So I spent the weekend up in Albany, and it was awesome, man. Like, it's so weird because all the things that I do and all the road trips that I take, I've never been to Albany in my life.
Really?
Never. And even Mike was like, that doesn't even make sense. I'm like, I know. It's very strange. But yeah, Fuzz, shout out to Fuzz, man. I met him also, great guy. And yeah, man, it was just it was.
Is that right? Is that a band that won "Hate the Adversity"? Is that a winner?
Hate the Adversary, yes.
Hate the Adversary. Got it.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly who won everything, but I know Murderers Row won. Shout out to Bob Riley. But yeah, man. All I did was laugh, man. That was on Saturday night, the night of like the actual award show. There was a pre-party Friday night, and there was like 6 or 7 bands, which were awesome. And then that was in the green room in the back.
I know that room well. Is that Dave Ellefson I see in the back there?
That's Dave Ellefson in the back behind us, and Craig ahead should be in that picture because between all of us in that picture, it was like all I did was laugh, man. All we did was break chops, and it was just a great vibe, and everyone had so much fun. Yeah, there's Craig presenting best hardcore band, and Craig's one of my favorite people. I was texting with him before.
Just as a side note to everybody out there, Saturday there's a show here at the Wood Shop put on by our friend Jorge, Authentic Productions NYC, Piston Broke and The Take, which is Scotty Roberts that was in the Spud Monsters and Biohazard, and Will Shepler, and Craig Satari is playing bass with The Take for these shows. So I'm gonna be there. I'm going to be there for that.
Speaking of ex-Biohazard, Leo Curley was upstate over the weekend, too.
That's right. Leo's a local guy up there. Good guy.
Yeah, really good guy. They were legendary people, man. Like Gary Holt was there. Couldn't have been nicer. Dave Ellefson was there. Bob Riley.
I think part of the Extreme Awards tradition, Extreme Music Awards, is being that Bob Riley won an award last year and won another award this year. I think every year they do the Extreme Music Awards up in Albany, Bob Riley should get an award.
100%. He's just getting an award for being there.
Yeah. Bob Riley's like I think last year he got like Lifetime Achievement Award, and this year his band. I think next year they should just he should get the award for just like best dude
ornament.
Yeah, and they should give him. It should be standard that they give Bob Riley an award every year to the point where 10 years from now, he has 10 of the there you go. The Bob Riley
Cup. Perfect.
Bob Riley Cup, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Listen, Troy's own. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I always say the pride of Troy, New York.
Absolutely.
Listen, I've known Bob Riley so long. I remember when he was thin as a rail.
I don't know him that long. I know him when he was a little smaller, but not that little.
Yeah. So, all right.
Good times. The whole thing was just awesome.
I'm happy. I'm happy for Valente and for Fuzz and they put a lot of hard work into this thing. And
10 months.
I love that they were they felt slighted, they felt disrespected, and they said, "Yo, fuck this. We're gonna do our own thing, and we're gonna give accolades to the people that are been sort of not recognized and therefore empowering our scene and empowering our people." Yep. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, me too, man.
I'm
looking forward to next year already. Seriously.
Already planning next year.
There you go. Shout out to Ralph. I feel like I knew Ralph for 20 years.
Yeah, Ralph's a great
guy. Finally met him face to face over the weekend. So I feel like I know that guy for a couple decades already. Good dude.
Hey, Ralph, keep me in mind for next year. I want to come back up and do something. So that said, Ooh, kudos for Jimmy for doing that in-depth Bobby Hamble interview. Yeah,
man. I got to shout out Jennifer Robinson for helping that along. And I saw Bobby at the Indian Larry block party.
Yeah, it was
And
great.
that's when we really got it going. And then he wound up doing it. And he does not do podcasts. He hates them. He doesn't like it. And he decided that he'll do one with me. And he even says on the podcast, like, the only reason why I'm doing this is because you're from Brooklyn. It's the only reason. So,
and you dated my ex-girlfriend.
oh my God. Yeah, we didn't bring up any of that. That was a little bit of something before we pressed record that we spoke about. We're like, yeah, nah.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, we're not dipping our toes into that. No way.
You know what? I love Bobby, man.
Bobby's a great dude.
Bobby's great, and he's still Bobby. He's
still Bobby.
Yeah. That said, okay, let's bounce. Listen, we're gonna get into the Delta Bravo stuff, and we have tons of great stuff. This is gonna be a lot of fun. But let's set the table a little bit.
Right.
Like, how did you grow up? Where did you come up? How did music come into your life? Just sort of like set the table a little bit. That kind of,
All right. I was born in Brooklyn in Canarsie. Shit, man. Music, I feel like, was always a part of my life because, like, my real father growing up had a giant vinyl collection. So there was always something playing in the background, whether it was all like classic rock stuff, the usual shit, Pink Floyd and a lot of Queen and Bob Seger and stuff like that was always on in the back. Neil Diamond, a lot of stuff like that. And so music was always there. And then I have a sister who's 6 years older than me that obviously started to go out and go to shows and stuff like that before me. And she kind of turned me. And then there was like, MTV started coming into play. So, I grew up listening to like a lot of that old classic rock stuff, and then you couldn't friggin' escape at that point.
Did you grow up in Brooklyn?
Yeah. I grew up in Brooklyn in Canarsie, and then my parents got divorced. I moved with my father to Rockaway just for a couple of years. And then I went back with my mother and my stepfather back to Canarsie. And then from there, we moved to Howard Beach for a few years. Damn. And then from there, I joined the military, and then I came back to Brooklyn. And then, I lived in Miami, I lived in North Carolina, I lived in Jersey, but I always find myself back in Brooklyn. So the majority of my life, I've been in Brooklyn, but I've been all over the place.
Did what branch of the what branch of the military?
The Air Force.
The Air Force, right?
Yeah, but I was an idiot. I got thrown out after 2 years and 9 months. Listen, I was a stupid kid and did stupid things. What are you gonna do?
Why'd you join the Air Force? Like, what? Why the Air Force?
Because first, all right. I don't know if I've ever told this story. I'll make it kind of quick though. First of all, I knew that I was getting into a lot of trouble. I was drinking a lot. I was doing a lot of drugs. I was in the limelight all the time. And, I was out and about on the bars on Flatbush Avenue. Yeah. Exactly. Winding up. Winding up at Lenny and John's at 3 o'clock in the morning and watching Evan fucking doing the pizzas.
Let me get a rice and cheese ball.
Rice balls at Lenny and John's, dude. Legendary.
They still have them.
I know. I went back there maybe like 5 years ago or something like that, but I think it's just not really the same.
You know what? It might not be as much the same, but it's still epic. I brought some people there from the UK. Like, I'm like, okay, they're like, we want some real New York. I brought in Lenny and John's. Dude, it was still mind blowing for someone like the whole experience of like Flatbush Ave and then we parked across the street and then we had to like navigate running across the street, not getting killed. It was awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah, Dominic, Vic's Moonbeam, God, 95,000 bar brawls in that fucking place. Yeah. You needed a library card to get in there.
Yeah.
So once I was always like I said, my sister was into music and shit, and then you always have like the MTV was giant, so there was all that stuff, and then the Headbangers Ball came out, and then I was into more like the thrash and the metal and shit, Testament and Metallica, all the usual shit. And then, I found like Suicidal Tendencies, and then I started going to L'Amour's. My first show ever at L'Amour's was an Anthrax show.
Nice.
And but they went under an alias. They went underneath Satan's Lounge Band because that was the State of Euphoria tour, and they were giants.
Yeah.
You know how bands would go on to like, it's like you would call up, oh, Angel of Death is playing. Like everyone knew that was Slayer, you know?
Yeah.
But so then I found Leeway at a Suicidal show. And then once I found Leeway, that was like the bridge into finding hardcore. And then from Leeway, I went right to Agnostic Front and then Sick of It All. And then I started studying my lessons, you know, Cro-Mags and all that stuff. And then it was a wrap from there and ruined my life.
I got, you know what? Just pulled this up. This is a Leeway shot from L'Amour's taken by Easy Ed Esposito that I have in the archive. Get a load of this.
Beautiful.
That's a L'Amour shot right there.
That's my buddy Cram. That's my buddy Mark Nolan, who is right there with the red shirt with the mic.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's my boy Cram.
Leeway was something,
man.
Leeway were great when you know, let me see if I have another one of those. Leeway were great, man. Like in that era, they were, you know, they had this scrawny kid like that had some pipes, man. You know,
yeah, man. Yeah,
they were cool.
What did Eddie used to say? He's like, yeah, you need that dick swinging energy, and that's what it was. He had that aura about him. One of the greatest frontmen ever.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, I remember seeing him at the Ritz once, and he just like nonchalantly walked out. They started playing. He just kind of walked out and just ran across the stage and like dove into the audience, and he just set it off, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, rest in peace, Eddie, man.
Yeah, rest in peace, Eddie Sutton.
So sad.
There's another shot from L'Amour's, actually.
Great shot.
Yeah, great shot. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, that's late 80s.
It's great.
Early or maybe 90, late 89, 90.
And don't be fooled, kids. See that crowd there? This is L'Amour in the 90s. Talk about a sausage fest. It's all white dudes.
Yep.
That's it.
The
girls were hiding. The girls were hiding in the back.
Yeah, the groupies.
Yeah. or they used to call them L'Amorsels.
Yeah, them.
So all right. So yeah, them. So okay. So L'Amour.
So that's how I grew. I mean, you know, I grew up broken home. You know, it's nothing unique about that. And then I joined the military, and then once I got thrown out, I came back home, and it was like there was a certain time frame where I kind of missed out on a lot because I was in the service. So like I missed out on a lot of the wetlands, and I missed out on a lot of Coney Island High. Like I hear all these stories. Yeah. I literally went to one show in my life at Coney Island High, and that was actually a Leeway show. And it was like by accident. I was just walking down St. Mark's and I found it. And I was like, okay, I'll go see Leeway. But I missed a lot of that stuff. I hear all the stories. I'm like, I was up in Alaska in fucking Air Force. So, but yeah, man.
I think I'm trying to grab this album cover. Hold on, because hold on. This could be it. Hold on. This is, I believe, that for the most part, or maybe for the sake of entertainment, I believe that you and I really met when we were both singing background vocals for this, right?
No, we met before that, you psychopath.
Well, this is like I said, for entertainment. Listen, you know, you do a show like this, you got to kind of go along with it.
All right. This is when we first met. That was our first date.
Did we meet? How did we meet? Where did we meet before this?
Shows. You used to, bro. You played my shows at Lucky 13 way before that.
That was before this?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. This is the record I did the video for, right?
No.
Road Less Traveled?
No, wrong record.
Wrong record. What's the record I did?
Last Act of Defiance.
Ooh.
How you doing, Drew? I got you. I got you. I'll hold your hand. Hey, all Frankie the Governor. What's up, Frank?
Hold on. Let me. So, I gotta get a good shot of it. Hold on. All right, here we go.
Why do I look pink? Bro?
Bro, welcome to my world. Why do I look like this? Why do I look like that? You know.
Jimmy had the balls to go back to document where he was stationed. I refused to go back to Fort Benning. Yeah, that was the story.
All right. So, as I was saying, you and I first met when we were doing background vocals for this.
Kind of, sort of.
All right.
I don't want to blow up your spot, but I didn't do background vocals on that. But yeah, that's where we met.
Why do
I don't know.
you did vocal? We did background vocals on the next one after that.
Correct.
All right. Very good.
Yeah. But we met way before that, dude.
Okay. At Lucky 13?
Probably. I've been to your shows, and I said what's up real quick at shows before we actually became friends.
I look more pink. I have the ability that I can adjust my color.
I can't. How do I do that? Can you just black and white me?
No.
It's a little too late anyway.
That's too pink.
Ray Hogan. Drew looks more pink. Awesome.
Pink?
Yeah, you look pink.
I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. Did someone say pink?
Yeah, pink.
Hey, Marla, where you been? I hope you're well, dear. All right. Okay. So that said, so things start get cracking. Back in the hardcore thing. Blah 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 blah. How did you get involved? Eventually with the Delta Bravo thing. Give us a background on that.
I was doing the Brooklyn Blast Furnace,
which is your podcast.
Which is my podcast. I had killed it for 2 years. Now I brought it back for a little bit over a year now. So I was friends with Danny Boy from House of Pain, La Coca Nostra, on Facebook, and La Coca Nostra was playing a show at the Voltage Lounge in Philly.
Right.
So at the time, I was doing every once in a while, like at horror conventions and at shows, I would do like these little bonus mini episodes, like on the spot, right into my phone, 15 minutes, in and out, done. Like it's little, drop little extra shit, So I hit up Danny and I'm like, yo, do you mind if I, would you be down to, do the podcast? He's like, yeah, absolutely. So once I got there, he's like, yo, just come backstage. And I was familiar with the Delta Bravo thing, but not so much. Like he had created this thing where it was like film locations. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then once I started getting friendly with Danny, next thing you know, it was like an hour long. We were talking. I felt like, and we didn't even talk anything about House of Pain, anything like that. We were talking about like The Outsiders and just film locations and pop culture shit. And it was super cool. He couldn't have been more like accommodating. And I felt like I was almost like stepping on his toes because I know that he's playing in a little while, but here I am all the way in the back sitting on 2 metal chairs. But he was just gracious with his time. And so what happened was I saw all that stuff on Facebook and I was like, it's funny because I've always been into movies and stuff like that ever since I was a little kid. And I always use this as a reference because not only because it's true, it's one of the first things I remember is when I was a little kid, I'd be watching like the first Friday the 13th movie that came out in 1980. And I would be watching it. And I'm like, all right, well, this is a lake that it's a real lake somewhere. It's not like on a Hollywood set or anything. I wonder where that lake is. I'm sure it's not called Camp Crystal Lake, but I would like to go there one day. And that's me at like 8 years old, So then obviously fast forward so many years later, of all people, Danny Boy creates this group of hunting down all these kinds of locations. If people don't realize, it's Delta Bravo Urban Exploration Team, which is Delta Bravo, which is DB, which is Danny Boy.
Right.
So people don't realize that. So he created the whole thing. He's kind of semi-retired because he has his whole Outsiders House stuff.
I pulled this off the internet.
Sure.
In 2009, Delta Bravo Urban Exploration Team, founded by Danny O'Connor, of the Outsider House Museum, House of Pain, La Coca Nostra. While on tour with La Coca Nostra, he found the house where the Curtis brothers lived in the 1983 Francis Ford Coppola movie, The Outsiders. which was adapted from the novel written by S.C. Hinton of the same name. While on the same tour, Danny took the tour bus and looked for more movie locations in Austria. Once he returned to Los Angeles, he created the name and logo, which Danny's real good at. He's a good art director.
He did House of Pain, all of that.
Yeah. He was behind all the logos. Good art director, Danny Boy. The Delta Bravo Urban Exploration Team was born. So he quarterbacked it. He had the vision. He put it together. He was driving force behind it for a couple years. He nailed a lot of great shit, and then you guys connected.
Yeah. I mean, I came in relatively late. I mean, there's several guys that were doing stuff way before I even heard about the thing. But once I found it, I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like in a weird way, I was always interested in that kind of stuff, but didn't know where to put it or to place it or what to do with that. It wasn't even like on the forefront. But then it's like once I found it, I'm like, there's, especially being in New York, it's endless of the things that were either filmed or things that happened, and there's no rules. It's more like what you're into. Like my friend Andy Katz, he's a big hip hop guy, so he does a lot of old school hip hop stuff. And like me, I'm all over the map. I true crime, cemeteries, horror movies, all kinds of shit, and I'm all over the place. But what it is like there's no money involved in it for me or anything like that. Even for Danny, you know what I mean? It's just
it's a passion project. And
it is.
And similar to sort of what I do, it's a passion project.
Yeah.
And like I feel like just relating it to what I do, this show, the shows down at the Bowery, the band, the books, the films. If you sort of break off any one of them and go, well, why do you do it? Well, why are you doing it? There's no money. Yeah, I always say, it's just part of the swirling mass of stuff that I do.
Yes.
It's just like I'm a sum of all parts, and there's sort of like it's just a part, and like, that might not be making me money on a given day.
I don't care about that.
But it's part of my passion, and it's part of what I do, and it's part of what I love. So
I don't care about them. Like friends of people that I work with and whatever. They're like, oh, do you make money? Like the first thing, oh, do you make money off of that? Like, no. Why does everything have to have a price tag or a payday at the end of it? Like I have a good job. Like I said earlier, like I'm self-sufficient. I don't ask nobody for nothing. I pay my own way. I don't bother nobody. So I do these things because I just enjoy it. And I found myself in certain places that I never in a million years thought I would ever be. It's an excuse to go somewhere, some weird state that I would never go to, and see things, and not necessarily the hit of the location itself.
And you're fanatical. I mean, you and I, we've got together, and we're going to show some of the stuff where you and I kind of
that was fun, man. We killed it in like an hour and a half. We killed it.
I have my shit together. I know
you do. You do. You do.
But yes, criminal minded. Yeah. Danny Boy made the La Coca Nostra logo iconic. Danny made. So let's start looking at some stuff and bugging out. So I'm starting with something real local, but it is kind of great. And I think it speaks to our core audience, which is this. Yeah, man. And this is cool.
I sent that to Roger because I had Roger recently on the Blast Furnace podcast. And I was like, yo, check this out. And he was like, yo, send me that. And then he posted it up on the Agnostic Front IG, I think. Yeah. But that's easy, That's just, I took the photo that who took it? I'm being stupid.
That's Randall Underwood.
Randall Underwood's photo. Sorry, I just had a little brain fart there. That's like, obviously the United Blood cover, and like the bigger version of the United Blood cover. And I just went into John Varvatos and stood, back, and I kind of lined up where, you can see like on your screen on the left-hand side, like towards the top where there's that duct where I kind of lined up.
Yeah, that's still there. Duct. That duct work is
which is still there. Yeah. So that was like my focal point. Yeah. That was like my focal point of, okay, that's where that is. And so that's where the speakers were. So
Yep.
Yeah, so it was just like, it's a before and after in one shot.
Yeah, I really like this one a lot because it's a real, because on some of the shots, things around it kind of look the same, and you're just sort of like, this happened, this scene from this film happened here, but everything around it's still the same. This one's very cool. It's like this has both the worlds. Mike Canino asks, are you guys able to make a living by following your passions, or do you have unrelated side gigs to make bucks to live?
I have a regular union job. I just go to work. I do my thing. I get a paycheck and I come home. And whenever I have free time, whenever I do, plus I get like a lot of vacation time and sick days and personal days and shit. So I'll be like, I'm out. Like I'll go away. Like, for instance, real quick, it was my birthday last September. It was my 10-year sober anniversary. It was my 49th birthday. So I asked my boss, I'm like, yo, I'm taking 3 sick days. He's like, oh, yeah, where are you going? Because he just knew. And I'm like, I'm going to take Thursday, Friday, and Monday off. I took a flight from here down to New Orleans. I hit a whole bunch of spots. I rented a car. I went up through Mississippi, through Alabama, and I flew out of Atlanta. 4 states in 4 days. So, and it's just like, why not? By myself, just driving on a highway, just throw the fucking music on by myself. I'm comfortable. There's nobody. I got to pee every 3 seconds. I got to pull over, all the bullshit.
Hey, Paul Kostabi, I got to ask you about, but my answer to that is yes, I do. I'm very fortunate and grateful that I do make a living from doing this show, and I do make a living basically from the films I've made. I see royalties from them, and the film and music and this show. That's how I'm able to do this show. I would not be able to do this show if I had like a regular job. A lot of work goes into the show, a lot of homework, and it's because of the generosity of people that love the show, that are patrons and sponsors. That's what's enabled me to go 365 shows in. That said, Paul Kostabi mentioned it. Is that right, Paul? That is really awesome if that's the case. He says Hilly Crystal found the dead boy's master in that duct.
Really?
That is wild.
That's crazy.
That is wild. Wow.
Yeah, man.
And he would know.
Yeah.
Paul would know. That's incredible. Yeah.
I don't even like going in there, though. I don't even like going into John Buffy, and looking up, it's like, oh, God.
Oh, it was on it. It was on the duct. You know what? Here's a Dead Boys tie-in. While Paul brought up and I asked Cheetah Chrome when I was doing the Michael Lago film, I believe, and I was interviewing him, and off the record we were talking, and I was sort of ragging on the John Varvatos thing and saying, yeah, it sucks, He said, you know what? At least it's not a bank or a cell phone store
or a Starbucks.
Or at least they're keeping somewhat of the legacy alive with the stuff on, and that totally changed my perspective on it to like, you know what? All right, at least it's not a friggin' TD Bank or some other jive,
Sure. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. Now we're gonna bounce around. We're totally jump around.
Yeah, that
we're gonna totally jump around and do all kinds of stuff. So let me find. Okay, let's go with this one. This one's kind of cool. And we're kind of pandering to the audience here, but this is kind of cool. This is Fallout. Tell us where this is.
That's at the band shell in Central Park. What is it? The Nuremberg band shell? It's called
Nuremberg band shell, right?
Yeah, I was with you that day.
Okay,
I did this with you.
You did this with me, right? And this is
young Pete Steele and what is it? Keith Alexander.
Yeah, this is Pete Steele from Carnivore's first band, Fallout, when they played the Nuremberg band shell. Josh Silver on keys, is that right?
Yes, 100%.
So
and Louis Beto on drums.
Right. And that's the day. So since we're here, this is a day that we did together because I told Jimmy, you know, I shot a bunch of videos in that area. So Jimmy was asking me about it,
I
and
never would have, if it wasn't for you, I never would have found the spot.
All right, well, we'll find.
If it's what you're gonna pull up, what I think you're gonna pull
no, but I'm pulling up this one that you did as a favor to me, which was kind of homage to one of my favorite bands.
Yes, yeah, I play yeah. That's the Grateful Dead playing just for you behind you. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I put that on a couple Dead pages and it got some love.
Good,
so
good.
That was cool. But one of the ones that we nailed. Well, wait. Let's do. Where is?
Yeah, people don't realize what has happened. Like, even me, like, I'll walk past the place 100 times, and then I'll be looking for something. I'll be like, no shit, like this was filmed here or this happened here. I walk past this every day, and I have no idea.
Well, this is the one that I found that you were fanatical over, and I go, I know
what you're talking about.
I think I know where this is,
dude. That shit was in my phone for like 4 years. And I took 2 different trips to Central Park to find it. And I'm not even a big Chili Peppers fan, dude. I'm just not. But it was like a 1989 old school picture of the Chili Peppers. And I was like, this is in Central Park because there was another shot of them and they were at the 72nd Street playground that I found. Right. And they're all wearing the same clothes and shit. I'm like, it has to be close. And then me and you go, and then you even looked, you went there, you were like, it can't be that easy. And I was like, motherfucker, it's right. I was like, I took 2 separate trips just to find that. And you were like, yeah, right there. I'm like, Jesus.
Right there. Yeah.
Yep, that's a shot.
And it's just because I grew up in New York City and spent so much time as a kid, as a juvenile delinquent, and even now, this is close to where I live. So, and I always say this on my walking tour, is that one of the things I love about Central Park is that it's still exactly the same from when we were kids.
Yeah.
And you can't say that about the rest of New York City, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So
looking at small little rock structures to make sure it's the right one. And that was dead on. I'm like, holy shit, there it is. That was a picture from 1989, some photo shoot that they did.
Yeah.
Some random thing I came across. I'm like, oh, this is cool. One day in Central Park, I'll get that.
Yep.
For like 4 years later.
Okay, here's these other 2. Good. All right. So this was another one that was a little more complicated because basically trees grow.
Yes.
But this is another one that we figured out, you and me.
Black number 1 video.
Black number 1 video.
The trees grow, they cut off some limbs, and they transform a little bit.
That's right.
But there's certain things that kind of don't change.
Right.
Like the double big split of the 2 trunks and all that stuff. And what I didn't know, what you told me, was that Danny Cole, Red Hot Chili Peppers are awful. That's hilarious. Like I said, I'm not a big fan at all. It was just a cool shot listen, not every single thing I do, I'm a huge, huge fan of. Maybe somebody else is a giant Red Hot Chili Peppers fan and wants to go there one day. So now I could show them where to go. But this, I didn't realize until you told me before we started this whole the plan to go there, was that's the Life of Agony guys up in the tree.
That's right.
Yeah, I didn't know that until you told me that, which is an added cool little thing.
Yeah, and this is
one video.
Yeah, that's the Life of Agony guys up in the tree, and this is the Black number 1. This is a still from the Black number 1 video that Paris Mayhew from the Cro-Mags directed, and I produced through my company Stone Films NYC, and I was fortunate enough to
there you go,
to receive this for my efforts
awesome.
On it. Yeah. Usually it's on the wall behind me, but for some reason I wanted to change it up and I took this off, and then we were about to start the show and I go, fuck, I want to reference that.
There you go.
So I grabbed it and put it over here, but that was
I never would have found that tree. It's like to find a tree in Central Park. It's like I never would have found that shit.
Yeah. And while we're kind of on the Pete Steele tip, this is like a real Brooklyn shot. Tell us about this one.
Oh, yes. Shit, I'm not sure. That's got to be early '90s with his crazy Mad Max car. I believe he lived in the house that's a little bit behind him to the left.
Yeah,
that's in Midwood, and it was just a shot from a magazine, and I cropped it out from the bottom, but it said something to the effect, "I'm the mean old man on the block that's children," or something. Right. And a friend of mine actually found the actual spot and was like, "Check this out. Here it is." So I'll get help from some people, especially like a lot of the Delta Bravo guys. I'm like, no shit. So me and my daughter one day, it was like a couple of Sundays ago, she's like, we were like bored. She's like, oh, we could go Delta Bravo stuff. So she comes along with me all the time.
That's
so
cool.
I just stood at that exact angle. I took my shots and superimposed him right where it is. Now, like the only thing, like, I don't know, you could see towards the top, there's like a light pole that kind of fades out. That was not there originally when it was taken. The tree in the back is basically the same. The green little awning on that door is different. Now it's like, whatever. But all the windows and the wrought iron railing all line up. That's the exact spot.
Things change. And you mentioned in Criminal Minded said you bring your daughter along. That's a really nice thing to do with your kid. It's like dude, until they're sick of it and don't want to do it anymore. But that's a cool thing to do,
Dude, it was last summer, man. We went on a 16-day road trip, and she didn't complain. At the time, she was 14. She didn't complain once. She was down for the cause. She had stuff that she came up with that she wanted to see in California and stuff like that. We flew out to San Francisco one way. I rented an SUV. She's walking around the yard at Alcatraz, and we're doing all this kind of stuff. We're hanging out in Santa Cruz on the boardwalk where the Lost Boys was filmed, and all these things. We went into LA, and there was a whole bunch of stuff she wanted to see that we went to. I dragged her around. We were running around Spawn Ranch where the Manson family was running around. Yep, that's Alcatraz.
Now,
that's from Escape from Alcatraz.
This is from the Clint Eastwood film Escape from Alcatraz, which is a great film. That was a great film.
Dude, the first time I ever seen it when I was a little kid, I was like, I want to go there. And I finally went there, and I was with my kid, which was awesome.
Yeah, and I guess this is, you just matched it up with the windows, and this is this is the Chow Hall, right?
That's the Chow Hall. It's all exactly the same, dude. Like, that place does not change. I just looked, and like, I think like behind it, like there was certain things where if I went a little bit to the left, like the windows didn't line up. So I was like, this is the only spot, that this was shot at.
I have this stub in my collection for some reason. In 1987, on May 11th, I took the Alcatraz tour.
That's awesome.
In 87. And I got pictures in the yard. You take the boat over there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. And here's another shot that you took in the yard. The yard is, things are exactly, it's.
Yep. There you go. Yeah. See all the bird shit? There's bird shit everywhere. There's seagulls. Everything. That's all bird shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to take a couple of rocks. I put them in my shoe. So I have like a couple of rocks from the Alcatraz.
The rock.
Yeah, man.
It's got a crazy history.
Yeah. And like on the ferry going over, like we saw like there was dolphins and shit. My daughter was like, "Oh, look, there's dolphins and seals and shit." So there was like a lot of other little small things that go along with all these trips that that make the whole thing worth it.
Yeah.
So we were in like 5 different states, 16 days, crazy.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Oklahoma, Albuquerque.
How about here's a cool rock and roll one that I never saw before until you sent these to me. This is Rock and Roll Heaven in
Jersey. Yeah, that's the original Rock and Roll Heaven. That's Johnny Z, rest in peace, and Marsha, and the person all the way to the left, on the way I see it. That's a representative for Kerrang magazine. I don't remember his name.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's an old one that I did because if you see how the other ones, how I kind of have everything faded, like the
yeah.
This was
I like this way too, man. This I like when they fit in perfect like this.
Yeah,
this is very
that's
cool.
like my older stuff. That's this. I probably did that one 7 years ago, and that's how I started doing it. And then I don't know. I just started.
Where is that in Jersey? Is that Clark? Is that what it says?
Yeah,
Clark,
I believe so. Yeah, Clark, New Jersey. Yeah, it's a barbershop now.
Yeah.
But like growing up as a metalhead and Anthrax and all these Violence and all these bands, Metallica, it's like it's kind of cool, man. That's like where it all started.
This is kind of a given. This one. I mean, I mentioned this to Rochelle, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I've been there." Like as like a goth chick. Like this is standard operating procedure. This place.
Oh, 100%. Evans City Cemetery in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, is that Pittsburgh?
No, it's outside of Pittsburgh, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So this is.
I believe it's called Evans City, Pennsylvania. It's not far out of Pittsburgh, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. Like I found the exact tombstone and sitting at the angle.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's iconic, though.
So you sent this to me in the lot, and I'm like, I remembered him, and it got me thinking. And a lot of things like in my archives are like. A lot of things are labeled properly so I can get them really quick. This wasn't. It took me a minute to find this, but check this out.
Nice. Yep, number one zombie. He was the first ever, people don't know, I'm a nerd when it comes to this shit.
Yeah.
He's the first ever on-screen zombie that you'll ever see, that you've ever seen. The first one ever.
Is that right?
Yeah. There was no zombies before that movie.
Oh, I never understood why he said number one zombie. Listen,
he's the first ever zombie.
Honestly, I've probably had this since the 90s. I went to one of these conventions or something in the 90s and had this, and it was in my computer, and I know I had it, but I was looking at. I didn't find it until I went under his name, Bill Hinsman. I searched in my computer and it came. I haven't seen this in years and years. So this is I'm coming to get you.
Bob.
So, yeah.
I'm coming to get you, Bob.
I'm coming to get Stone Films NYC.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what it says. Isn't that great?
Awesome.
Yeah. I never knew. He was the number one zombie. How cool is that?
The first ever on-screen zombie.
Yeah. And I know that cemetery is like a real destination for like horror buffs and goth people. I've seen a million pictures of people. I'm coming to get you, Barbara, and all that.
I hit like different angles. Like there's the famous one where Barbara's like holding on to like the big tombstone. Like if you go onto the group on Facebook and you search up Night of the Living Dead, like I hit like 8 different shots from that whole cemetery shit. Where he's trying to break the car window, like the building behind him is still there, and yeah.
I like this one. I like this one. It's not a before after. It really just pays homage to a great, great actor, and that's this one.
Oh, dude, bro. One of my favorite moments doing all of this shit. All right, if everyone, if One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Chief, right? So he was in a lot of shit.
Listen, I can't front, but Will Sampson's speech in The Outlaw Josie Wales,
dude, incredible.
When he says, that speech that he gives to Josie Wales, he should have a star in the Hollywood Walk. That guy should have a just for that alone.
Yeah, this was crazy because this was in Wichita, Oklahoma, and when I went there, good thing that the truck that I rented had satellite GPS, because there was my phone. It might as well have been a stapler because I couldn't make a phone call. Nothing. There was no service.
Wow.
And it was in the middle of nowhere, and it's a small little, maybe 200 feet square Indian burial ground.
No shit. Next
to this little tiny church, Grave Creek Cemetery. Yes, dude was it? Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
of course. He was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo. He's
Yeah,
Chief
so
in One Flew Over the
so
Cuckoo.
now here's a little tidbit that made it so cool for me.
Juicy fruit. Yeah.
Well, don't you see the little pack of gum that I left there for him?
Oh wow, I didn't see that.
Dude, I bought that pack of gum like 2 weeks before that trip. And I'm like, when I go there, I'm going to leave a pack of juicy fruit for this guy. And if you get it, you get it.
That's
so
awesome.
When I was there, I was like, this
good
is
call.
So, yeah, man. So I took the picture. I left the juicy fruit, if you know what that means.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not like multiple packs there.
Me too, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, he died young. Will Sampson. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah. That was a really, really, really cool moment, man.
Will Sampson was 53 years old. He was young, man.
Yeah, man.
He was young.
Yeah,
he was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Outlaw Josie Wales, The White Buffalo. He was in Orca.
Was he?
Orca the Killer Whale, yeah.
Oh, well,
and he was in Poltergeist 2. I remember that. Yeah.
Should have left him a basketball, he said. Yeah. Hit me, Chief. Hit me, Chief.
Chief.
Yeah.
Chief, come on, Chief.
Randall Patrick McMurphy. Best.
Yeah. That's a great
great movie, man.
Yeah.
So it's like moments like that. Like I'll never forget that day when I went there. You know what I mean? There's no money in it. It was just a cool feeling. Like this is fucking cool that I'm here. What am I doing in Wichita, Oklahoma, of all places?
Speaking of Oklahoma, is this Long Island or Staten Island?
That's Long Island.
Long Island.
That's in Freeport.
Right.
Yeah, man. I don't remember the name of the street. I hit that like a month ago.
I think part of the
reason it's a really long name. The street starts with an A, but it's really long.
I think the reason they did it there, or maybe since then, it is a place where a lot of people have taken pictures there, I think.
I'm not sure. But but the background was very different because obviously Sandy and stuff like that. This picture's from 1989.
Sure.
So like the background, like they built it like in the actual picture, you can see that the water comes like right up to like the guardrail that's back there. But now there's like land and then but it's the exact same spot. There's a couple of telltale things, like there's a dock that's on the back left-hand side that you can't really see here. That's it's in the same spot. It's a little bit built out. It's nicer now.
But it's a great record too.
Great record. So what she's saying, great record.
Yeah. Let's do a couple more, and we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Well, here's one that I haven't seen. I haven't seen this one, and this is one of my favorite films. We just rewatched it yesterday. It has a family friend in it as well. I'm talking about this here.
Marathon Man. A lot of people like don't know about that movie, man.
Oh, that movie's so good, man.
So good. That's Laurence Olivier in the Diamond District. I don't remember the exact cross streets, but it's on the corner, and that's where he gets made. Like that's where he gets like exposed.
Zell.
Yeah. So he gets exposed for being a Nazi war criminal, and that's when he pulls out the knife.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Is it safe?
Is it safe?
Man. I did that like on my like my lunch break at work one day or something.
Yes, I love when they ask him the first time, "Is it safe?" When he goes, "Yes, it's safe. It's safe. It's so safe, it's not safe anymore."
Yeah.
Oh man, that's not gonna work.
That whole scene, man. That whole dental fucking. Oh god,
bro! If you have never seen Marathon Man, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It is a great American film from the 70s. It is a very disturbing. It's a disturbing film. That's
Dustin
right, Al.
Hoffman rules in it.
That's right, Al Mitchell, Circus of Power. It is a very disturbing film. Basically, the character, and listen, yo, we're talking about Laurence motherfucking Olivier here, man.
Damn right.
This is Laurence Olivier, and this is no joke here in Dustin Hoffman. But basically, the character Zell that Laurence Olivier plays is basically Joseph Mengelev, really. It's basically, he plays like a Joseph Mengelev character that's hiding out in Argentina, comes to New York City. And you know what another crazy part of this film is? That crazy car chase where his brother is in my neighborhood right here.
I have that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
The car explodes. Yeah, the whole big explosion. I hit that spot.
Yeah.
That's on my page somewhere.
Yeah, that's right here in the Upper West Side.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's, same director who did Midnight Cowboy.
Yes.
Yeah,
I hit a couple of Midnight Cowboy spots too.
Yep. Yeah, Marathon Man's a great film. I highly recommend it. It's an incredibly disturbing.
Yep. It's criminally slept on too.
It's that's one of those films. Listen, as a kid that grew up in the 70s, that was standard, man. We and you know what? Here's another one. Here's another one that reminds
me. All of these are so local, bro. You're going so local.
Well, this goes back. Here we go. We're going back into Central Park for this one.
Oh, cruising.
This is back into this, and I know exactly where this is because I shot a music video right here. This is like this. I shot a video for Visaria, which is Baron with the long hair who plays in Carnivore AD now, and Chuck Lenahan, and so I shot the Visaria video because they were like a techno goth band. And this area, Central Park, has all this incredible Gothic architecture.
Yep, 100%.
Cruising was a weird film.
Disturbing, man. Dude. Cruising was a fucked up movie.
It was fucked up.
I hit several spots. There's a lot of meatpacking district areas in there. I hit probably about 10 different spots from Cruising.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cruising was weird because it was hard to follow. And it was hard to follow because and I read about it, they made the guy that was killing people, I think, different every time he killed somebody.
Yeah.
So it was confusing. It wasn't like he was different every time. So it was sort of hard to follow,
Yeah. Good movie though. Disturbing as well.
Yeah, very controversial film. It was
Big time.
They really made the gay community look like real
bad, dude.
like
degenerate bad.
Degenerates, they really, It's kind of like an SAT question. It's like, Cruising did to the gay community is that Scarface did to A, the Irish community, B, C, the Cuban community. Scarface made the Cuban community in Florida look pretty damn bad as well. Yeah. So
I hit a bunch of Scarface stuff in New York. The New York scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. So
no, that you have on the bottom is not correct. The IG, that's a hacked thing.
Oh.
It's hacked.
Don't follow him.
Don't follow that. Relatively unscathed.
How'd you get your Instagram hacked?
I don't know. Somebody fucking did it.
Damn, bro.
It's been hacked for like 4 years.
And I've been tagging it and everything.
I know. If I ever get control of it, which I don't think I will, who the hell knows? Because whoever did it put on two-factor authentication. So I can get to a certain point, but then it comes up and I don't have those numbers.
Why would they want that?
I don't know. There was like 5,000 people on it. It's not like it wasn't even like a verified account. There was like 5,000 people on that. Jeez. I don't know. So I created a new one, which is the name of my book. And that's where you get the podcast too. But the Delta Bravo stuff, just follow Delta Bravo Urbex team.
Right.
On Instagram for all that. And then there's a Delta Bravo Urban Exploration group page on Facebook. Which I help moderate so I could accept.
Got it. Hey, let's take a sponsor break. It'll be a couple of minutes. Go out, have a smoke, take a whiz, do what you got to do. We'll come back. We'll do more. We're going to bring Devin from DTFM Vinyl Distro on. We'll look at some records. So I'll see you in a couple minutes.
See you in a few.
For those wondering, our guest today is Jimmy Ferrari from Delta Bravo Urban Exploration Team. Yeah, take some notes, man. Marathon Man, a must-see. I recommend Marathon Man Cruising, whatever. But Marathon Man is just a great film. So let's do some sponsor stuff. We'll come back. We'll talk about some upcoming shows. Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as t-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call
or email generationrecords@gmail.com and follow them on Facebook and Instagram.
Will that be cash or in debt?
Do you mean debit?
Yes. Sorry. Another eternally satisfied customer.
Yo, what's happening? I'm out here at one of our all-ages Sunday matinees on the Bowery. I hope that you are enjoying today's show. I just want to let you know that the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live needs your support. Please step up. There is a Patreon page that has a lot of unique program. Shows are announced there first. Lots of good stuff. There's a PayPal address right there on the screen if you want to make a contribution. There's also a super chat function. You could do that, but the bottom line is this show exists because of your support. We're going to be doing it for a long, long time. Thank you for all your support through the years. Back to the show.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Conditioned by misinformation, it's just the media telling us lies. Decipher fiction from the truth, society's slow and tragic demise. Open your eyes, you're losing control. Open your eyes, put down the phone. Everyone's got their...
And we're back. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Our guest today is Jimmy Ferrari, representing Brooklyn, New York. Good. Andy, I'm glad you're enjoying the show. We must be doing something right. Absolutely. As I mentioned in the commercial there, please support the show. Support is needed. I want to welcome our latest patron, Kylie Newgrass. And there's a Patreon page. Be a patron, join Patreon. It's the best way to support the show. The show needs your support. That's why we're still here all these years later. Nobody's getting rich from this shit, but it's enabling me to focus on this thing and not to have to go out and drive. Not that anything's wrong with driving for Uber, but it's enabling me to stay focused with the blinders on and work on the show. So there's the address again. Let's talk about some upcoming shows. There is no show this Sunday because we got the big banger down at Berlin. Noise, Incendiary Device. It's going to jump off tonight. American Eagle, Brass Knuckle Brigade, and Tear Gas. There's an after show going till 9 o'clock with DJ Sid the Kid. So this is what's happening Sunday. We will be back a week later with Mark Haggerty from Gray Matter and Iron Cross on Sunday, January 26th. A week after that, the force behind punk rock bowling and the band Youth Brigade, Sean Stern and Mark Stern will be on the show. A week after that, the White Whale, Arthur Googie will be on the show. Of course, a guy that never does interviews. Excited. Of course, he played on Misfits Walk Among Us, 3 Hits from Hell. I was with him in Antidote. He played on the iconic Antidote, Thou Shalt Not Kill 7-inch. Yo, we got the Goog on the show. Is it really going to happen? Stay tuned. Wednesday, February 19th, by popular demand, Merle Allen, the Murder Junkies, G.G. Allen, will be on the show. Sunday, February 23rd, yes, you asked for it, you got it, Dave Lombardo will be on the show. This hasn't been announced yet. Wednesday, another Wednesday show for you people that, can only tune in on Wednesdays. Travis Nelson, a.k.a. Reverend Sinister of New Jersey's Hub City Stompers, will be on the show. Got to announce this tomorrow on social media. Carl Legel has rescheduled. He's landing on Sunday, March 9th. And then Kurt from DRI is on Wednesday, March 19th. So there you go. Lots of great shows coming up. Can't stop, won't stop. That said, let's bring on our beloved sponsor, hailing from Fargo, North Dakota. Devin Casavant. What's up, bro?
What is up? It is freezing outside. Absolutely.
Listen,
I'm going to start a barrel fire. I'm not even kidding.
If it's this cold here in New York, I can only imagine what is going on in Fargo, North Dakota.
I have a metal sign that I have outside that I bring in every night. And last night it almost froze to my hand.
Oh my God.
No exaggeration.
Do people come into the store? I mean, I guess humans get acclimated to anything, right?
People come in. I mean, there's people coming off the street, but it's just like, man, what are you doing outside in Hoth? Like, really?
What do you got to show us today?
All right, so I've been on a contemporary punk kick lately. I don't know what got me on it, but hey, it's there. So I decided to start with this bad boy right here.
Yeah,
I love this album. Love it.
I mean, dare I use the word iconic? Is that fair? Like, that particular record is really, that's a fantastic record, I must say.
Not only is it fantastic and iconic, but you have to remember too, 3/4 of the band was doing overtime while doing all at the same time. And they were putting out Mass Nerder around the same time.
Yeah.
Which is also an iconic and great record.
Yeah.
But
that one's great. Yeah.
Ooh. What can you say about it, really, other than iconic?
Yeah.
This one, NoFX's last release for Epitaph. I had someone come in the store and say that this was their worst record. I don't understand where that comes from, because this has so many classics on it. And one song in particular that I can really relate to, thank God it's Monday, because I'm closed Monday. And when it's Monday and you have the day off, the world is your oyster. You could go to the movies in a bathrobe and nobody cares.
When you said that's their last record on Epitaph, I'm not that schooled in NoFX. Did he? Is that when he started and went to his own label? Is that Fat Mike Records or something? What's it called?
Fat Records.
Fat Records.
That's basically when he told the band, it's like, we're just gonna release our own music.
Yeah.
And they just kind of shook hands with Brett Gurewitz and went, all right, we're good.
Yeah.
But they've always had like a really good agreement with Epitaph. They did that box set, what was it, 10 years ago, I think? But yeah, this record,
and Mike was very involved in the Punk Rock Museum, and I'm talking to them negotiating about doing something at the Punk Rock Museum during Punk Rock Bowling, because we're going to be out there. I'm not supposed to say that, but yeah. It's being announced tomorrow. By the way, big announcement tomorrow for Punk Rock Bowling involving the band I play in. Oops. All right, go ahead.
All right, next. This is my favorite record of 2024. The latest and possibly greatest Alkaline Trio record. The last record Derek Grant played on. Totally went out with a bang. All of these songs are just perfect. This is the Alkaline Trio record fans have been waiting for at least 10 years.
I don't know much about this band. Have they broken up?
They're still together. They recently got Adam Willard on the drums.
Okay.
Who was in Against Me, Rocket from the Crypt. He played in Social Distortion for a while. He did a brief stint in The Offspring.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they're touring. They recently toured Australia with the Dropkick Murphys and supporting this record. And this record is just fantastic. I think it won some magazine's poll for best record of the year as well.
Andy Henry says Good Morning is another great Alkaline Trio record.
Good Morning. I have so much nostalgia connected to that record. That is such a great record.
I must admit, I do not know that band much, but I'm sure we're going to end up getting one of those guys on this show sooner or later.
I've got a fan club card for their defunct fan club. Oh, it's kind of split down the middle, but it's still in my wallet.
Right.
Now, here's a record that I know a lot of people are divided on, but I think it's awesome. Rancid's Life Won't Wait. I felt they took a lot of really cool chances on this, and it doesn't matter who you ask. They have strong feelings about it. They either love it or they absolutely won't listen to it. And
Is this a record? Is this a recent record?
this is a record from 1998. This was the follow-up to Out Come the Wolves, and they decided to do a lot more experimentation.
You know, that's interesting. Dee Dee said Rat Bones. That's the logo that's the skull that Rat Bones claims was lifted from him. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. There you go.
This is an amazing double LP. And if you're one of those people who's just like, I can't listen to this, give it another chance. It's really good. Don't go into it expecting Out Come the Wolves, because that's not what they were trying to do.
Sure.
And my final choice, I got to shout out my buddy Morbid Rob with Maniacal Devices, Kill Your Masters.
What is that?
Great crossover from Pennsylvania. It's dark, it's dirty, it's mean, it's loud. And I'm biased because Morbid Rob's a buddy. So
Is that his name, Morbid Rob?
he goes by Morbid Rob. That's his stage name.
I like that. It's like Mohawk Katie or like, you know, Drunk Joe. It's like it's a good one. Cool. Good stuff, man.
And that's all I got. That's
All
it.
right. That was awesome. I love when you come on, because you know you kind of always bring in a little bit of an eclectic mix, you know. So I enjoy it, and thank you so much, and thank you for being such an incredible sponsor of the show. I appreciate it, and stay friggin' warm out there, will you?
I will do my best. And
Anybody you want to thank? Anybody you want to shout out?
My parents, my wife, my friends, and especially you, Drew, for having me on this show all the time. Love doing this. Thank you for the promotion, and I love being one of your enablers.
Thanks for enabling me. I'll talk to you soon, brother. Take care.
You too, my man.
All right. Bye-bye. There you have it. Boy, we're so fortunate on the show to have such great sponsors. And by the way, there's room on the boat for another sponsor these days. So if you have a hankering and want to get your stuff out there, reach out. Do it for a month or a couple months or whatever. But there's actually some room on the boat for one more sponsor. Sadly, Organic Grill closed its doors and had to move on, and New York Comics did as well. So there is some room on the boat. So if you're interested in being a sponsor for the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, reach out. That said, let's bring on today's guest and let's keep going at it. Delta Bravo Urban Exploration Team, Jimmy Ferrari. Hey, man.
Hello again.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello again. That said, let's just jump right back into it.
Yeah, let's just jump all over the place.
Yeah. Let me see what I got. Hey, you know what I'm a big fan of?
What's that?
I was a big fan when this show started. It was actually, you know what? There's a tie-in here.
All right.
Let me tie it in.
I'm all about it.
Yeah. Here we go. Listen. Who's ready for a deep tie-in? Here we go. I'm gonna start with this. And then we'll go backwards from there. All right?
All right. Oh, dude, that was crazy.
Okay. So this is from the Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Right? Now, yeah. I know, wasn't Shawshank shot in that old prison? Is it the one
Ohio.
in Philly? Oh, in Ohio. That's right. In Ohio. Now, this is the scene when Red goes up for his parole hearing and basically tells him to fuck off.
Yeah.
And he was dead honest with them, and they approve him.
Yeah.
Now, is this in that prison?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's called the Ohio State Reformatory. I don't remember exactly what part of Ohio. That was on one of the crazy road trips I did. That was surreal because that whole place, that's on the second floor. I wanted to close the door so that I could like line up everything like better. You know what I mean? But you could see how like the two-tone wall, how it's the same, and even like everything is the same. But that's on the second floor. Actually on the third floor, if you watch the movie, which if you've never seen Shawshank, I don't know what to tell you. But when not Red, who's Who's the old man? Come on. Brooksy. Brooks. When Brooks makes parole and he's walking around and he goes to the halfway house and then he hangs himself.
Yeah.
That's on the 3rd floor in the same.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm walking up these stairs and I'm like, holy shit! Like the same wooden, like where he hangs it. That whole room is exactly the same, dude.
Wow.
So it was like one-stop shopping for the Shawshank Redemption. And what's even cooler is on one of the floors, I think it was like the main floor, they actually have the mold. There's plexiglass on each side, but they actually have the mold of where they had the camera when the warden throws the pebble through the poster and he sees the hole that was tunneling out. That whole thing is actually there. A part of the pipe where Andy is like tunneling out, that's there. And it's just like, these are like the legit movie props that were used in the movie.
So
that place was awesome.
So from time to time, people ask me, and I've been asked this a lot as somewhat of a filmmaker, and I've been asked many times, on the record and off, what's your favorite film? So and I, for me, I say it's The Shawshank Redemption, and that film. That's my go-to. It's like that is my favorite film for a lot of reasons we don't need to get into.
Yeah, it's one of the many movies that even no matter what part of the movie it's on, you just leave it on.
Yeah.
Incredible movie.
So there's a connection. There's a connection between the Shawshank Redemption and this. Does anybody know what the connection is?
That was fun too.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the connection is.
I will tell you. Let's see if anybody knows the connection between the Shawshank Redemption and the first episode of The Walking Dead.
Is it the same director?
Yeah.
All right, that was a good
guess. Frank Darabont, who directed The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, and what was the other? Was it called The Majestic? The one with Jim Carrey, who's living in a fantasy world, where the whole world is like a stage to him. What was that? Was that film with Jim Carrey?
With the mind.
A film with Jim Carrey where like I think he lives in like in a TV show. Was it The Majestic?
I know what you're talking about.
What's the name of that film?
The Truman Show.
The Truman Show, correct.
Right.
So all those films are directed by Frank Darabont. Frank Darabont, the director, was the guy who designed and basically created the first season of The Walking Dead, and he directed the first episode of The Walking Dead. The very first episode was directed by Frank Darabont. And if you've never seen any of The Walking Dead, and you're a fan of The Shawshank Redemption or The Green Mile, watch the very first episode of The Walking Dead. Frank Darabont directed it. It is really good.
It is.
And I think for me, that's why The Walking Dead originally, like the first season was so good.
Yeah,
The first season was very, very good of The Walking Dead. So is this taken from an overpass going into Atlanta?
Yep. That's Atlanta in the background. The bridge itself starts with a J. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but like I said, it's on the group. Every spot that we hit, I put the exact address, so it's not like like I'm a gatekeeper and like just guess where it is. Like I put the location in case you want to go there too. That's what we do.
There's a lot of that on some of these familiar abandoned place. Like, listen, I understand a lot of the abandoned places. Like you put the address on there, it's but
right. But there's a lot of CGI in that. Like if you're actually on that bridge, like that. That's the CDC. But that's a real spot. Like that building looks exactly like that. It's like an arts and entertainment convention center. Yeah. Yep. That's in the middle of Atlanta too.
I think that might have been. Was that the end of the very end of the first season or the end of the second season? Yeah.
Maybe second season. I think maybe.
Yeah,
but they go to the CDC and
So I'm taking it from looking at all this stuff. You did like a big Georgia Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, I hit a lot.
Terminus, right? What is this? Yeah. What about
That's
this?
in Atlanta. That was
Right.
cool as shit. That is an actual functioning I don't know if it's like, but they do shit with metal. I don't know if it's like steel fabrication or whatever, but it's super loud and super busy, and it's a complex of a whole bunch of buildings. So there I am. I just pull up, and me being me, I walk into this giant warehouse, and there's some dude on a big forklift, and I'm like, yo, and I'm yelling, trying to get his attention. And I'm like, yo, can you tell me where this is? Like, I don't even know if he's going to let me walk around this place, you know? So I showed him the picture. He's like, oh, yeah, that's all the way in the back. I'm like, okay, can I go there? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. If someone tells you to get out of here, tell them that Danny said, you know, it's okay.
Right. That's cool.
Like, all right. So I go, and I got several shots from when they first enter Terminus, when they first meet the lady, and she's barbecuing.
Sure.
Stuff. You know, I found all that stuff. But even like when you see the actual location, you can still see Terminus is very, very light. Like I guess they acid washed it off, but you can still see where it was. But it was just cool, like watching that show, just to be there. Like, this is fucking Terminus. Like, this is cool shit, you know?
Are you a fan of the show? Did you watch the show?
Yeah, I watched it all. I watched all of it. I tried to get into some of the other spin-offs, and I'm just like,
Yo, me and my gal, boy, we went deep. We're like,
Fear the Walking Dead was really good, though.
We're suffering through that now. It started good, and now it's sort of. There was a point where we suffered. There was one season that was like.
It's really dark. Did he get to the nuclear? Did he get to the nuclear bombs shit yet?
No. Oh yes, yeah.
Everything is orange for like 2 seasons.
Hey, Larry Kelly says, "Yo, if you're ever up in Boston, let me know and we'll go hit some spots." I'm sure
Let's go. Well, we could do that. And I've been up to Boston, and I hit 1,000,000 spots up there.
Yeah. All right, so let's do some of everybody's fit. Yo, listen. Everybody loves this movie, right? And this I'm gonna go with this first because this is anytime I see this, I just think of that piano part in Eric Clapton's Layla, right?
Oh, that was during COVID.
Right.
That was during lockdowns.
This is great Martin Scorsese, who kind of uses great music drops and interludes in his films. Yeah. That great piano.
Cue Layla.
Yeah, during Maury. That's right, Maury.
No, that's not Maury. That's Johnny Beef. That's Johnny Roast Beef and his wife.
Johnny Roast Beef and his wife, who when they came in the bar with the fur coat, he goes, I love how he takes it, puts it in the ball, get out of here.
I told you, don't buy nothing. Don't buy nothing.
He gets a pink Cadillac.
Fat
Carbone. Is that no? Johnny Carbone was frozen.
Yes, Carbone was frozen in the meat.
It took him a week to thaw him out.
Yeah, this is for the autopsy.
This is the other guy.
Yeah, I had to hop that fence. That's in Queens. I had to hop the fence, but there was some benefits for me with COVID doing this stuff. There's no traffic. There's nobody around. Yeah. So I'm by myself in my truck, and I'm like, all right. So I had to hop a chain link fence to get that particular angle to line it up the way it is.
And this is Queens. What's the L up there? What is that? Is that that's not a train line, is it?
I don't remember, man.
Yeah, interesting. That's an interesting location. I love in the film how it's like it's just great. It's a great film, you know. Speaking of that great film, let's do another one. And I think, do I know where this is? Is this in Long Island?
That's Fort Lee, New Jersey.
No shit.
Fort Lee, New Jersey.
And that's
a private home. That's someone's house.
Oh, in Fort Lee. Wow. I always thought it was Long Island. And this is when Karen, when her neighbor puts a move on her and
this is when Karen almost gets whacked by Jimmy towards the end. He's all coked out of his mind here holding the gun. Stop with the fucking drugs and turn your mind into mush.
Oh, Karen's parents' house.
That's 1080 Inwood Terrace, Fort Lee. Oh, by the way,
I thought this was from the scene where she comes in crying, and the guy meets him in the driveway and goes, "Oh, you got a problem?" And he goes,
"No, I got that too, though. I hit that spot too. That spot is in New Rochelle, Alfred Lane in New Rochelle. By the way, that pink Cadillac spot that's on Babbage Street between 117th and 118th Street in Richmond Hill.
Yeah, Josh, that's Forest Hills, Richmond Hill, correct?
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
And
man.
then here's another Goodfellas shot. Is this from when they got sent down to Florida and they grabbed this dude off the street? Is that what this
Yep.
is?
Yep. When they go down to Florida, that's what I knew.
So wait a second, you went down to Florida for this?
No, that's at the Prospect Park Zoo.
Oh.
That's in Brooklyn. There's like 3 different ones that I did from there. I even got the upside down lion when they hang them upside down. I got that, and I got another one where they're about to throw them. We'll throw them over the moat. So I got that too. But that's in Prospect Park, dude.
No kidding. It was shot in Prospect Park.
Yes.
Made to look like Florida.
Yep. And when it says Tampa, it says Tampa Zoo.
Sure.
That on that the foundation of that statue, that lion statue, that's right in the it's movie magic. It's moved. It's in a different spot, but it's
sure.
Prospect Park. And I met the guy that like the head of security because I thought that was in a different spot, and I went to go up these stairs that was cordoned off, and like I guess they were watching me or whatever because I'm looking suspicious, looking around. And I couldn't go up there. And I was like, yo, and I had to convince these guys, like, yo, listen, I'll only be 2 seconds, blah, blah, blah. And then they called the head of security over. And I'm talking to him, and he thought it was awesome. And he brought me this spot, like you can't go there if you're walking around the zoo. But he was
and you figured it out and lined it up?
Yeah. He actually knew, too. And he was like, you paid admission to come in here just to take this picture? I'm like, yeah. He's like, here's my number. He's like, give me a call. Like, you go here, the Bronx Zoo, just give me a call. Let you in for nothing. I'm like, all right, awesome. Yeah, he was super cool.
That's awesome. That's
in the Prospect Park Zoo.
That's friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
Let me see if I have anything of that ilk. You know, this is not to sort of, and we're certainly not trying to glamorize something like this, but this is one I've never seen before. And you know what? Let's just ask the audience. Does anybody know what this is?
Anthony Gunner. Take a picture of the last one. Oh, that was fucking crazy too, dude.
Does anybody know what this is? Let's see if anybody responds. Hey, Anthony Gutter, shouting out Gutter Christ in New Jersey, shouting out.
I already know what he just did. That's a Pee Wee Herman fucking quote. I know what he's doing, and I hit Pee Wee Herman spots in Cali. I hit his house.
And leave it to Anthony Gutter nails it.
Yep.
Yep.
That's August 1st, 1966. Charles Whitman. He was a sniper at the University of Texas shooting in Austin. That's the tower.
Yeah.
But if you look, you see the little arrow? There's a little plume of smoke right there. He had just gotten off a round.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if you have the other ones. The one
I do. I'm going to show
dude,
them.
I had to put myself in the position where she was. I don't know if you have that too.
Yeah, I got it.
Crazy.
First, let's go with this one, right? Which is, so for those that may not know, Charles Whitman was a Marine Corps. I don't know if he was a sharpshooter, but he was a Marine, and he went up to this tower in Texas and started shooting people.
Yeah. And
this woman is hiding behind.
She's like a college student, and if you look, I'm seeing it. The left hand part of my screen, you see a person who's laying down in front of the hedges who's shot. Right. You see that? Now this woman. Now this guy is he did Francis. He did have a brain tumor. He was fucking shots there, and that girl, probably terrified, 17 years old, is hiding behind the flagpole, hoping not to get shot. So I put myself in her spot to see her vantage point of what she was looking at.
Wow. And
I
that's
thought it was kind of heavy, bro.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. And what a horrifying incident. The guy was barricaded himself at the top
with an arsenal, dude.
With an arsenal.
Guns. He had a shotgun. He had a couple of rifles, handguns.
I think he shot like 40 people and killed like 20 of them. Yeah, is that right? He supposedly spent 3 days carrying ammo up there.
Yeah, it was crazy. He killed his mother and somebody else.
I read about it today. He stabbed his mother. He killed them, and then went over there and went on this rampage. And yeah, Gutter's right. The fucked up part is they couldn't hear the shots. People were just getting hit. It took them like a half hour to figure out what was going on.
Yeah, man. There's some maniac up there just fucking.
Yeah. Hey, Danny, look at you, Jimmy, the New York Blast Furnace.
That's my guy. What's up, Danny? What's like things?
Yeah.
Night of the Gabagool.
Yeah. So there you go. As we continue our tour.
Yeah, that Austin shot was a part of a big long road trip too.
You know what? I'm going to stay with the theme of sort of not trying to glamorize this stuff, but there is an inherent historic value to it.
That's why I do it. I don't glamorize. I've always been like interested in like true crime and serial killer shit and horror movies, whatever. It's not to glamorize anything. It's if whether you like it or not, if you get offended or whatever. I'm not glamorizing anything. It's legitimate history. Not all history is pretty, and some messed up shit happens. So I happened to go there, and it's like, wow, like the chaos that must have been going on. Oh yeah, that's the La Bianca house. Yeah, that's Rosemary and Lino La Bianca's house on Waverly Drive in Cali.
Now let me ask you, because it's hard to tell here. I see on the left now. Of course, for those that may not know, Lino.
They changed the driveway going up to the house.
Is the house still there?
Yes, but there was so much trees and shit that the only thing that I would be able to actually line up properly is you could see you see like the pedestal that has like that wrought iron light on it. Right. Like I cut off my picture halfway through that, so that was my focal point. But they split the driveway instead of being one single one, it goes in two directions. But the house is still there.
It's kind of amazing that the house is still there, considering the heinous crime that was committed there. And like, I don't know if I'd want to buy a house where two people were just brutally murdered in.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, they tore down the one where Sharon Tate was killed. They have a whole brand new entire, like you can't even get onto Cielo Drive. That's like bucket list, but.
Yeah, shout out to Jimmy's OCD on these pics. Yeah.
Gutter knows. All my magnets on my refrigerator have to be even. He knows.
And there are some more that like we're kind of on the Manson thing, and I think we talked about this stuff once before on the show, but we're going to do it again because this is a really.
Now I have my daughter on with me.
Right. This is Spawn Ranch, and now this is lined up really well. Now none of this exists anymore.
No,
right? This was what's his name? The old cowboy guy. What was his name that owned the place? George Spawn. Yeah. And they used to shoot Western stuff there and do horseback stuff, and Manson's people were in there. But none of this exists anymore, right?
None of it. Actually, my buddy Danny Johnson, who is a Delta Bravo guy, one of the best that does this stuff. I called him when I went to Spawn Ranch. My daughter was like, "We're going in here." I'm like, "Yeah." Now there's a famous picture of the Manson family inside what they call the Wave Cave, and I'm on the phone with this guy, Danny. He's like, all right, I'm going to tell you from the street which way to go. And there was a small opening that you had to go down and then around and then all the way down. And there was a big hill that you had to climb up. It was just kind of steep, which my daughter didn't do it. But I went up there, and then you come up to like this big, long, flat area. And then there's nothing to go by because none of those structures are there anymore.
And from what I understand, they don't want people on this property anymore.
No, there's no trespassing signs everywhere. But I'm like, there's nobody here. I'm just taking pictures. I'm not doing nothing.
Right. And this is on the same property in the back, right?
That's the Wave Cave. Yes.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy. Like that was one of my bucket list. Like that was like my white whale in the United States for some reason. And I'm on the phone with my boy Danny. He was like, phone a friend. And he was like, all right, you're going down and you see someone spray painted a big Spawn Ranch wild style graffiti piece. And he's like, yo, if you see that, you're only about 20 feet. Just keep on walking. And I walked and it was right to my left. And I'm like, holy shit. And then he's like, yo, turn around. There's a big boulder that they used to call that Charlie's Rock because Charles Manson used to sit on that rock and play his guitar while everyone like smoked weed and whatever and hung out in that cave.
Yep. And that cave.
My daughter took a picture of me in the cave too, which, you know, it's different. But
and they say, as lore would have it, there's a couple other bodies buried on that land somewhere, but they've never really found them, you know?
Right.
So that said, you know, here's a good one. You know, this is in my neighborhood where I live. And while we're sort of going with the horror theme,
the true crime murders,
we got this.
Oh yeah, that's the Dakota building where Lennon was killed.
Yeah.
Yep, Rosemary's Baby.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Mia Farrow. I think that's like actually like behind the scenes shot. I don't think that's actually from the movie. I think.
I don't think. I was wondering about that. I don't remember that in the movie, but that is.
I think it's like a production still or something like that. But I was like, that's perfect.
That is 72nd Street between Central Park West and Columbus.
Yep.
And that is Mia Farrow in the Roman Polanski directed film.
Roman
Rosemary's
Polanski, Manson stuff. Sharon.
That was it. Wow, what a tie-in!
That's the tie-in. Right
Manson, right? Sharon Tate, who Manson killed, was married to Roman Polanski, who directed Rosemary's Baby.
Which is
and by the way, if you're out there, we're talking about 70s films. If you look at if you've never seen the film Chinatown, which was directed by Roman Polanski, it is truly one of the greatest American films ever made. It is yes, that is the same building. And here's a shot from around the other side of the building.
Hey, what's up, Lenny?
Yeah, from the other side of the building. There you go. And that's during a John Lennon sort of gathering that they do every year.
That's actually like not long after he was shot. I think that's a couple of days later.
Right.
Yep. So I got that with the whole crowd and lined up the building, and yeah, man.
When I do my New York City cinematic and music walking tour, my Dakota rap is very strong because I have a history. I was around when this happened. I went to high school in that neighborhood. I walked past, and I'm not going to get into all this now, but I walked past the front of the Dakota on the way home. And by the time I walked up to Broadway and got on the #1 train and went up to the Bronx and walked up the hill and got to my house and walked in, it was on the news that he was shot. So I walked right past Mark David Chapman, who was waiting for John Lennon in the vestibule where he shot him. I could do a half hour on that.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, all this and stuff. And this was what came out of this, these gatherings. What really came out of these gatherings eventually was the funding and creation of Strawberry Fields, which is there now because they were gathering in the street once a year, and it became problematic. And then Yoko Ono donated $1 million to create Strawberry Fields in Central Park.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
we walked right past that on that day that we went through Central Park.
And that's right. Lenny from Crazy Eddie Fahrenheit 451 says, I knew one of the relief doormen there, and I have stories and a pretty good idea of the layout. He has a lot of interesting lore and Bacall stories. And of course, the Dakota, is famous and infamous for the denizens that live there, including Lauren Bacall, Boris Karloff lived there, Connie Chung and Maury Povich. It's a very, very famous building. And my mom, who's 88 years old, always plays the lotto and says, when I hit the lotto, I'm buying an apartment in the Dakota. That's her big lotto dream. I'm buying a Dakota, Yeah, it's true. I walked right past him waiting for Lennon, and I could go on for a half hour about this stuff because the story goes deeper. But pretty cool. Hey, what's up? What's up, Josh? Hardcore Legends Trade. Hey, have you ever seen your card, dude?
Whose card?
Your card.
Why, I have a card?
That would be this, wouldn't it?
That's news to me.
Yeah. There you go. You got the.
That's fucking cool. Thanks, man.
It's a good shot too, man.
That's a photo from our mutual friend, Mr. Michael Alago.
Is that right?
That is taken the day of the Indian Larry block party. I just put the Blast Furnace logo behind me.
Right.
And that shirt I'm wearing, Criminal Records, is a small record store in Atlanta that on one of my last road trips that I went to, and I bought the shirt.
That's the front, and I will show you the back. I have the back as well. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, this is
recording.
There you go. There's the back. Personal trivia. Jimmy is a podcast host, show promoter, and writer, and a union handyman for a 21-story commercial building that takes up 4 blocks of time.
That's why he's asking me these questions. I had no idea.
He is also a huge fan of all things related to the horror genre, attends conventions. Wow.
Yeah. Everything is accurate, but no, I'm not from Rockaway Beach. I'm from Brooklyn.
Fun fact, Jimmy's working on an autobiography called Relatively Unscathed, which will cover his life and adventures from 1975 to 2015.
That's awesome.
Tell us about that.
All right. It started off early when I was doing the podcast, episodes 49 and 51 of the Brooklyn Blast Furnace. I think it started because I didn't have a guest on episode 49. So I was like, you know what? I don't know. I don't give a shit what people say about me or judge or whatever. I'm just going to throw out every single thing about my life, good, bad, ugly, embarrassing, stupid, fucked up, everything, onto a podcast. And then, so I did that, and I touched on a certain few things. And then when I put it out, people were like, dude, that shit is crazy. It should be a movie. You should write a book. But I want to know more about this, 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 and this. So that's why I did a part 2, which is episode 51. Episode 50 is with the Sick of It All guys at the studio when they were recording the record that we did gang vocals on. So I'm like, yeah, I appreciate, that you enjoyed the podcast and whatever, but I'm not writing a book. I'm not an author. I don't know how to do this shit. So it was not even like in the back of my head. It was just like, whatever. And then about a year and a half ago, I wish I had a better story, like to even, to go into, but I woke up one morning about to go to work. And it was like the second thought in my head was, I think I'm going to write a book. And it was just like, I'm going to do it. And it was just like that. And then,
good. Did you do it? Did you write it the old fashioned way? Did you type it or did you dictate it? Did you dictate it and then?
I typed it. And it's funny because I put something up on my personal Facebook page, like, yeah, I'm going to write a book, whatever. And my friend Dominic DeMeo, who I met doing this Delta Bravo stuff, he calls me. He's like, yo, you going to write a book? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how to, I guess. He's like, I'll put you in touch with my father-in-law. Turns out his father-in-law is a super successful and respected editor who edited The Stand, Pet Sematary, I believe Needful Things, a bunch of Dean Koontz books, James Patterson, a whole bunch. This guy's been doing this shit since 1969. And make a long story short, like I said, I had a conversation with him and I spoke to him for about a half hour. I told him my basic story. And he was like, dude, how are you not in a mental institution? I was like, I don't know. I'm on my fucking lunch break at work. And he's like, how much do you have written? I'm like, nothing. He's like, start writing. I'm like, okay. And he's like, it's going to take you about 5 years to do. I'm like, no, it's not. And dude, let me tell you, after all the drugs and the alcohol and the bullshit, whatever, it makes no sense why or how I have such an incredible memory. I remember everything. And I kept like a lot of ticket stubs and flyers, and I have a lot of photos and stuff like that. So 2 weeks later, I emailed him 180 pages. He's like, how the fuck did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. You told me to write. So I come home from work and I just write. Some days I'll write. Some days I'll write 3 sentences, but then some days I'll write 30 pages. And it took me exactly 13 months. And I handed him 753 pages.
And where's it at now, the whole thing?
It's in the editing stage. He's just about finished with the entire first edit of the entire book. It goes through several edits. It's not going to be 753 pages, that's for sure. But yeah, it's everything soup to nuts. I changed a lot of names. I had to change a lot of names. Some names are the same, but it's everything from I go from my grandparents to my parents to the birth of my sister and then me. But all that beforehand is maybe 15 pages, and then it goes from me from when I was a little kid all the way up to 2015, a little bit into 2015, because I got sober in September of 2014. So there's not much chaos after that or really good story. It's whatever, but it's everything from, I mean, I put shit out there, dude, that I never even told people, like embarrassing, like
I feel everybody should write a book about their lives.
Everybody
I really do. I feel
them.
everybody. I mean, I think everybody should do it. I mean, it's kind of great. So
yeah, everybody has a book in them. It's all. And listen, some of the things that I've been through, it's like I'm not unique in any way. Yeah, who hasn't had issues with drugs or alcohol? Of course, I'm not unique in that regard. But there's other things that intertwine with that maybe people would be like, "What the fuck?"
I've been writing a book for many years. I think the first book I write is mostly gonna focus on sort of my hardcore and music sort of years. But anyway, that said, let's keep moving forward. Let's do a couple more.
That's the name of my Instagram account. Is the working title of the book, which is Relatively Unscathed.
And let me fix that. So the IG is at Relatively Unscathed.
Yes. And that's where you'll find the Brooklyn Blast Furnace stuff and my personal stuff. But the location stuff is Delta Bravo Urbex Team. I run that page too.
I'm sure I spelt it wrong.
Oh.
But there it is. At Relatively Unscathed.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, let's
there's also a group on Facebook for that as well.
Here's another one that caught my eye. Of course, this is Anton LaVey. Now, is this?
That's a real lion, by the way.
Right. Is this in like the mansion in LA?
Yeah, that's in San Francisco.
San Francisco.
That's in I believe it's called the Westerfield House. I was on like my Manson shit, and there's a terrible movie. It's like a 15-minute movie called The Incantation of My Demon Brother.
Yeah,
and it was done by
Kenneth Anger? Yeah.
Yes, who also for a brief time lived in this house. And there's a picture of Bobby Beausoleil from the Manson thing. He's standing on the front porch wearing a top hat, and on the back on the door it says "Do as thou wilt" or something like that. Yeah. So I wanted to get that shot. So I pull over. I'm with my daughter, and she stays in the car. She's like, "Just whatever, do your thing." So I go over, and there's a guy who's painting the stairs, and I'm like, I needed to stand on the stairs to get like my angle. So I start talking with him. I'm like, "Yo, do you mind if I take some pictures?" No, go right ahead. Turns out his name is Jimmy also, and he turns out he's the owner of this house. So I start bullshit with him, and he starts talking to me about LaVey living there and this and that. I'm like, wow, it's crazy.
Now, is it a private residence now?
Yes. Wow. So now what happens is after like 10 minutes of talking, he's like, if you wait like 10 more minutes, I'm done painting the stairs, I'll take you in the sideway and I'll show you inside the house.
Wow. So
I go to my daughter. I'm like, yo, we're going in. She's like, really? She gets all excited because she loves old mansions and this old kind of stuff. She's awesome. So we go in there and we just had free reign. And he's like, yeah, here's pictures. And we exchanged numbers real quick. And he's like, yeah, here's LaVey. And what they did, obviously, it's the same exact fireplace, but they just made it nicer.
Sure.
And there's another shot that I got where the bookshelf is behind him and he still has the lion that I got. And he was showing me like there's like a wooden like molding that goes like up the stairs, and there's still claw marks from the lion.
Wow.
So I was like, yo, that's crazy. So I had no idea that I was going to be in this place, but he couldn't have been cooler. We were in there for like a half hour. He's telling us stories, and the place looked like a museum, but it's actually his house.
Here's
that
two
was
shots. Incredible. You mentioned these to me that like we got to touch on this, and that is, of course, an infamous day in American history, and that is the John F. Kennedy assassination.
frame 313 of the Zapruder film. The
And
headshot.
I've been to this location.
Me
This
too.
is Dealey Plaza in Dallas.
Yeah,
and,
man.
You know, that's Pantera country. And a couple times when I went through there, when I was working for Biohazard, touring with Pantera, and a couple other times I was at Marauder. But this is always sort of like a go-to location.
100%. When I went there, it's so much smaller than you would think it is if you've never been there, because you grow up and you watch the Zapruder film and all that. You know what I mean? But if people don't know, on that street they have. You're welcome, Ben. On that street, there's 3 X's that are actually it's DBUET, Delta Bravo Urban Exploration Team. So there's 3 X's that are in the street. It's the missed shot, the first shot, and then the kill shot.
Yeah.
So this was easy because all I really had to do was line up that frame from the Zapruder film with the dead center of
that's the single frame when he gets nailed. That's like the pink mist coming out of his head there,
that's JFK's head exploding, dude.
Damn.
Back into the left.
Texas is the reason.
Yeah, man. And just standing behind the fence on the grassy knoll, it's like, yo, man, it's like my daughter could make that shot.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, it's
so small. It's like, come on, this is easy.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a marksman to hit that shot.
Another shot that I'm assuming you did like that day or when you were there, and this one's great because I know incredibly this backyard is still exactly the same, correct?
Exactly the same. I lined up. You can see where it's black and white, like up to the left where the stairs are, and behind him those support beams. That's also in Dallas. I don't remember the exact house, like the address, but it's on the page. But it's exactly the same, dude. I walk back there and I'm just like, holy shit.
Now, is this the person that has this house? I mean, I assume this is like
it was empty.
It's really?
Well, at least there was
kind of
nobody
assume
home.
It's like a daily destination for people, the poor people that live there.
Yeah, it's in a weird neighborhood. I don't know if it's such a really good neighborhood. I was kind of like, I don't know if I should go into this person's backyard, but there was no cars parked like in the driveway or anything. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going back there. And
this is where Lee Harvey Oswald lived with his wife, correct?
I believe so. Yeah,
I think so.
For a brief amount of time.
Yeah.
And I take, like, not everywhere I go, but I'll take certain, like a souvenir from the place, not to vandalize it or whatever. But I took like a piece of wood and a couple of nails from like that the boards behind him. I have a piece of the grassy knoll fence, which I didn't mean to break a big piece off, but I have like a 22-inch piece that's on my wall in my living room. I put it like down my shorts. I'm limping around Dealey Plaza with a piece of the fence at my leg. But, it's little, trespassing in Texas where man.
Yeah.
I don't recommend trespassing, but you got to be kind of smart and slick and choose your spots.
Let's do one more, and then I'll take a quick break. Let me see what else. Well, I know this is a big personal favorite of yours because I remember seeing you, at the chiller conventions and at all the horror conventions. I know this one is near and dear to your heart.
Oh, yeah. That's the gas station from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre in Bastrop, Texas, which they did kind of like what Danny Boy did with the Outsider's house. Someone bought the actual place. They restored it.
Is that right?
Yeah. Inside, you could buy like horror toys. And when I was there, it was the guy who played the Creeper from Jeepers Creepers. He was there doing a signing. But behind that, they built like 4 or 5 small cabins. So I spent the night behind the gas station. So it's like you open the door and it's like, yo, in 1974, that's where Leatherface was chasing fucking Sally to the gas station. It was just it's cool as hell, bro.
Wow, I did not know that. So yeah, these things happen. People like Danny Boy O'Connor and this person here, they restore these beloved film sites and turn them into sort of destinations.
Yo, man, and it's like, why else would I go to Bastrop, Texas? Yo, I want to stay at the gas station. Why not? And it's a cool, and of course you go in there and It's small. It's a small cabin, but it's super air conditioned, and there's a Wi-Fi connection to the TV. And what do you watch? You have to watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's what you do. You go to Danny Boy's spot, you go to the Greaser Hideout. What do you watch? You watch The Outsiders.
That's
what you do.
That's one thing I have to do one of these days. I mean, if I ever get a hankering to travel again, I want to go to Tulsa and visit Danny Boy at the Outsiders Museum, because Michael Alago went there recently and said it was an incredible experience, and he's such a accommodating person, and he's a beloved figure in that area now.
He could run for mayor and win in a landslide, Danny Boy. And Michael Alago was there. I think he left 2 days before I was there last summer.
Sure.
He was like the last person to stay in the Airbnb before me and my daughter.
That's awesome. Hey, let me take a quick sponsor break, read off a couple things. It'll be a quick one. We'll come back. We'll look at some more. We'll take some questions from around the world, okay?
Sounds like a plan.
And what a plan it is. This is it. You've arrived. The one, the only, often imitated, never duplicated. Clank your chains and count your change. The New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. And we are sponsored by, you know what? I can put music to this, right? Here we go. Little music. We're sponsored by blah, 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 and Mad Vintage. Mad Vintage buys, sells, and collects band shirts, primarily hardcore. That's a little too loud. Hold on. Let me get it. Let me get my music. Get my music straightened out here. There you go. Okay. The DIY operation was started and is primarily... You know what? The music's fucking me up. Mad Vintage buys, sells, and collects band shirts, primarily hardcore. The DIY operation was started and is operated by a hardcore kid who just loves collecting and eventually got into vintage clothing, specifically the realm of vintage band shirts. They are always looking to buy out collections to either keep, sell, or trade. New shirts added daily at www.madvintage.com and posted on Instagram. Dig deep into that closet of crap. Help me help you. Mad Vintage. Let's try a different one. How about this one? Acoustic cinematic. "126 Hardcore Clothing is a..." The music fucks me up. 126 Hardcore Clothing is a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise. They are about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them and ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. Last but not least, the Texas Silver Rush. They're a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with all musicians and all music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rowley, Ringo Starr, and of course, Agnostic Front. Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram page, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Lord have mercy, I got through it. That said, wow, what a challenge. That's the end. That's the end of that. Wow. Some weird. It's like some weird music, you know. That said, hey, I want to mention a couple of events coming up. There's some really exciting stuff coming up this weekend. I want to talk about that a second. So that said, this Friday, day after tomorrow, Authentic Productions NYC presents at the Wood Shop in New York City, Piston Broke, The Take with Craig Satari on bass and a couple other bands. Yes, that is leading up to the big banger this Sunday at Berlin, 25 Avenue A, Noise, Incendiary Device. It's going to jump off tonight. American Eagle, Brass Knuckle Brigade, and Tear Gas. There's going to be an after show with Sid the Kid spinning until 9 o'clock. Come on out, bring that nagging wife, bring the booger-eating kid. Everybody is welcome. Listen, want to shout out American Eagles on that bill. all their merchandise. They're a proud supporter of the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Their T-shirts, pins, and guitar picks are all going to this charity. This is going to be a hell of a day. Come on down. February 8th, another Authentic Productions NYC, Raw Brigade, and Dynamite from the UK at the Meadows. Sunday, February 16th, it is the return of, speaking of the Night of the Living Dead, it is the return of Bobby Steele and the Undead with Sad Plant, Star Car featuring Sab Gray from Iron Cross, the Car Bomb Parade, and Prize Fighter. That too is at Berlin. Yo, back where it all began at Niagara on Sunday, March 2nd, a very rare show at A7, which is now known as Niagara. If you're still watching, Al, yes, we're back. It was tough to get back in there for the show. We're playing with Crazy Eddie. Al Mitchell from Circus of Power. You would remember this venue. You played there as well many times. This just announced the other day, Sunday, March 16th, Hub City Stompers, Winterwolf, Ancient Domains, Daija, and Ill Raised. This is going to be at Berlin as well. It was announced that it's at the Bowery Electric, but this will be in Berlin as well. Saturday, March 22nd is the Rai Fest. Fishbone, Scream, Shutdown, Ache, Ryan Bland, Neighborhood Shit, Maafa, etc., etc. Yo, the big banger, the annual Tompkins Square Park Memorial Day show, Non-Residents, Butterbrain, Fire is Murder, End of Hope, and Sonic Bomb. So yeah, lots going on in New York City. But listen, just listen. I don't care what you're doing, man. Just get your ass down to the show if you're in New York City on Sunday. The series needs your support. This is a big banger. No excuses. Yeah, so there you go. That said, everything okay? Boy, the music didn't go over well, did it? Everything seems cool. Well, thank you, Danny Cole. Another good show. Thank you. Hey, Allie. Howdy from Scott. Okay. Another friend in Scotland. Thanks for tuning in. That said, let's bring our friend and guest Jimmy Ferrari back on. There you go.
Yo.
Alex Mitchell shouting you out. When Alex was in the early New York hardcore band Crucial Truth, they played A7 many times. So there you go. Let's do a couple more.
Sure.
And listen, if anybody has any questions about Jimmy's adventures, what he does, what he can do, any suggestions, please
100%.
feel free to post them up as we go.
Yeah.
This was, I know you like the true crime stuff quite a bit, and this one is pretty disturbing. I know a little bit about the history here. The Netflix doc is awesome. I've seen a lot of these locations. What's going on here?
That is one of the victims of David Berkowitz, son of Sam, Virginia Voskerichian. That's in Queens. That's a Tapeworm listening from Saipan. That's my guy. I know Tapeworm for 30 years. Yeah, she was one of the victims of Son of Sam. She was walking home from work or school, I believe, and he walked over to her and she held up books in front of her face and he shot and killed her through the books and everything. But if you look, it's like if you put that back up, you could see that the pole is still exactly the same spot and the same pole from the 70s.
Yeah, here it is. Where is this exactly?
That's in Forest Hills.
Forest Hills. All right. Is that his first victim? Or
No.
was that Moskowitz was his first victim, right?
No, Moskowitz was, yeah, see the pole, the sign, the pole is lined up exactly the same.
Yeah. Lenny would know. He's a Forest Hills.
And I've been to her. I hit every single David Berkowitz spot. I've been to every one of their graves. I've been to every one of their murder scenes. I've been to David Berkowitz's house, David Berkowitz's front door. All of it.
We're getting. Have you been to Untermeyer State Park?
Yeah, of course. And what's was weird, and it wasn't even like planned out. It wound up being 44 locations, 44 caliber killer.
Wow.
44.
Is this the Bronx?
No, that's on Shore Parkway. That's in Bath Beach.
Wow.
I used to park my car right where that is. That's Stacey Moss. That's his last victim. I'm going to say about a half a block behind that is the fire hydrant where he wound up getting the ticket.
Wow.
That's the last spot. And Robert Violante survived. He wound up being blinded, but she was killed. I went to her house and I visited her grave too.
Wow. For those that may not know, David Berkowitz, a.k.a. the son of Sam, was caught here in New York City because they wrote him a parking ticket because he was parked in front of a hydrant. And then through the detective work, they went back and looked at everyone that was ticketed, and they paid him a visit. And kind of by chance, they got him. He got a fucking parking ticket.
There's one of them that I did. It's outside his building where all the detectives are outside of his car.
Yeah.
They were like looking, they're like, okay. And they lined up.
And this, when you showed me this, I figured what it was because I've seen the building from the outside, but this is the hallway in Yonkers where he lived, correct?
Yeah. I had to kind of like sneak my way in there because you had to be buzzed into the building. So I pretended like I was on my phone and I waited for somebody because it's a pretty tall building. So I waited for somebody like to come home, and I was on my phone. I was like, yeah. No, I'm downstairs right now. Like, not even on my phone with anybody. No, I'm coming up right now. And I followed the person in, and I went up, and I kind of like had to look around. I was like, all right, there's the elevator. So that was.
Did you know what floor he was on?
I believe it's the 7th floor. Yeah. So
wow.
all the way at the end of that hallway to the right is his actual apartment where. Yeah. So, I mean, it's crazy because, like, the floor is, like, the same, that old school asbestos tile.
Yeah. It's, like, real,
Ray Hogan, do you think it was him? He played a part, but it wasn't only him. Watch the, what is it, Sons of Sam on Netflix. And I'm friends with Carl Denaro, who is the only he's a survivor. He got shot in the head. He was with his girlfriend, Denise. And I'm friends with him. I was supposed to be doing a Blast Furnace podcast with him. But even he's like, there's no way. He's like, there's no way it was only him.
Here's another true crime one, which is very interesting, this one here.
That was by chance.
Right. Is this is, am I pronouncing this right? Eileen Warnos?
Warnos.
And, she of course, she killed multiple I
think 6 dudes. Yeah.
That was is this is where they initially grabbed her, where they arrested her? Was it called The Last Resort then?
Yeah.
It's still called The Last Resort?
Yes. This place, dude, let me tell you something about this place. This was by chance. I flew down one way to Florida to pick up a car, and I'm driving the car back, and it's like, I think it's Orange something, California. It's like maybe about an hour north of Jacksonville, if I'm not mistaken. So now it's a beautiful area, and then you come across this bar that looks like it's out of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I'm like, okay. So I walk in there, and that's Charlize Theron, Rennie. So I walk in there, and there's no one behind the bar. There's a pool table. It's graffiti everywhere. And I'm like, hello. And I walk towards the back, and there's a whole outside spot. And this woman who looked like she was out in the sun way too long, probably a little bit messed up, a little speeded out or something. And I'm like, yeah, and she's like, oh, I'll show you around. And there's like a shrine to her in the back.
Wow.
There's like candles and shit. And there's scenes. If you watch the movie Monster, there's scenes that are filmed in there. And also the pool table that's in there, Eileen Warnos used to play pool on.
Wow.
So the bar is still the same from when Eileen Warnos used to legitimately hang out there.
Wow.
I bought a shirt. I'll never wear it, but I felt bad because I was like taking pictures and I don't drink. So I was like, all right, I'll buy a shirt. I'll never wear it. It's in a drawer somewhere.
Is
Yeah.
this
That was crazy, man.
is this, I'm assuming this is Elvis's home in Tupelo?
Yes, that was my last road trip.
Oh,
That
yeah?
was that was when I flew down to New Orleans. This was last September. I flew down to New Orleans. I hit a whole bunch of spots, Angel Heart, a whole bunch of stuff. And then because there was 3 states in a row that on my map that I did not hit in a cluster. And it was Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hit all 3 of those states. So
Wow.
I needed a spot in Mississippi, and I've been to Graceland. So I'm like, all right, I'll just go to Elvis's birthplace. So yeah, I stopped in there, and that was one of my Mississippi hits.
And
Eventually, I will go all 50. I'm 30 down, 20 more to go.
yeah, I don't wait, hold on. I got to find this one. The Angel Heart one.
One of my favorite.
But
movies.
isn't this New Orleans?
Yes.
Right. So this shot, which is a great film, directed by Alan Parker, right?
Yeah.
This is
That is on Magazine Street in New Orleans. It's a coffee and chocolate spot now. That's where obviously Mickey Rourke went in to have a drink or whatever. And that fan is still there. I have a whole bunch from Angel Heart. That was one of my bucket list movies to do. That was the
Great
main
film.
reason.
Great
That was one of
film.
the main reasons why I wanted to go to New Orleans. But Louis Cypher, Lisa Bonet, and Johnny Favorite, and bro, it's such a great.
It's a great
movie.
film.
So
I read the book. It's very, very good.
Or is it Falling Angel or something like that? It's called, right? Yeah.
ARS, what's up? Hope you're well. The matchup, blah, blah. Do you do the photo editing too?
All of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about your angle too. Like it's you have to. And I take a bunch of pictures, like at little small increments, because when you're dealing with windows and staircases and sometimes a lot of archways and stuff like that, like if you're, a foot to the left, I won't be able to. I mean, I could tweak it a little bit, but there's only so much I can edit without it being distorted. So you got to try to get as close as possible to the angle of whatever you're doing.
Now I brought you this one, right?
Yeah, man. Yep, the Warriors. That's a production shot of the Warriors, and yeah, I mean,
Hey,
obviously,
Yo,
you can
shouting out
see-
Walter Monster Ryan. What's up?
I was hanging with Walter last weekend. The best. What's up, brother?
Yeah.
And everyone check out Faded Line, his new band, because they rule. So yeah, this was really cool because, and as you know, all the turnstiles obviously are completely different from when they filmed that, but the window in the back is the same. So that was our focal point where, okay, that's cool. That this is the angle and this is the direction they were standing in. Yeah. You actually gave me that photo, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, I know that station because I used to live. That was my station. And then
Joseph K. Has Jimmy considered doing the iconic Brooklyn Bridge Walk in the Punishment video? Absolutely. I have screenshots in my phone. I'm just waiting for it to not be 6 degrees outside. 100%. And I even have shots from the Tales from the Hard Side video where they're next to, I believe it's the Manhattan Bridge, not far from where Once Upon a Time in America was filmed and all that.
Yeah.
I have a few biohazard shots in my phone.
Yeah. This is another one that we did that day, and this is when they come out of the station and run around the corner. This is when the Baseball Furies give chase, and
inside that little building, if no one knows, inside that little building is that last picture that we took of them by the turnstiles.
That's right. So,
bro, I love doing this shit, bro. If I didn't have a job, if I was like independently wealthy, I would never be home. I would just be everywhere doing this shit, bro. I get out. I've been in such crazy places. Like it's like a Tuesday afternoon. Why am I driving on some weird highway? This was recent.
Yeah.
This was recent.
Were you bummed? Were you bummed when you show up and the scaffolding was in there?
Bro, let me tell you something. Doing this shit, scaffolding is the biggest enemy of this shit.
Right.
It's the worst. So this is in Queens. I was actually texting back and forth with Craig ahead. And I'm like, dude, where is the actual, I asked Lou, he didn't remember, he knew the avenue, whatever. So he told me it's like 289, I think, or 2 something is the name of the school. So it's in Flushing. So now I go there, and the entire school is wrapped in scaffold and netting. The whole thing from the roof down. I'm like, no. And now I had traffic. I'm driving from Brooklyn into Queens. It's a shit show. But I'm like, there's no way I'm walking away from here like defeated. I'm not doing that. So I look, there's like security cameras and shit. So I'm like, you know what? I see where the alleyway is now. So I'm like, okay. So I look around, there's no one there. So I hop this fence. I go underneath and over this netting, and I jump down in there. And now right in front of me is more scaffolding like that blue shit. But now so much work is being done that I don't know if that alleyway is going to be there when they're done doing what they're doing with the school.
Right.
So I'm like, fuck it. I'm here. Let me just do it. So I did that. And it was, thanks, Monster. And then I also did, it's a little bit back more, but it's the same exact shot, but with Craig from the Nonstop album cover.
Right on.
Yeah, man.
Let's see what else.
That was recent. I ripped a hole in my jeans. There's security cameras, but listen, I got the shot.
There you go.
Sometimes you got to rip a hole in your ass to get the shot.
I know there's some fans of this band that watch the show, and I wanted to put this one up. How about that?
Thanks to Danny Northside Kings. That's in Scottsdale, Arizona. I went there. I did not have this picture in my little arsenal when I went on the road trip. So it was a Sunday, and Danny invited me and my daughter for Sunday dinner. And we had meatballs and spaghetti in the Marinino household. And he was like, yo, like at the back of the Ignorant Sacred Reich record was that shot was like right down here at the skate park. I'm like, no shit. So we drove there, and he was like, yeah, it's right there. It's like right underneath this overpass. It's this really huge. Cool
Danny says it's a minute from my house.
Yeah, man. So shout out to Danny. I give him all the credit because I had no idea. That was a bonus shot in Arizona, which was cool as shit.
And we're kind of banging through them quick here as we head down the home stretch. But another Elvis one. I mean, this is sort of a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, man. Graceland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, guy, he looks young there, man.
He was super young there. I did a whole bunch of that.
Yeah.
I have a picture of him diving off of a diving board in the backyard. I have a whole bunch of stuff.
Let me see. You know, this is an interesting one. It ties in with hold on, let me find this one. So we started a discussion about this, and this ties in with a couple. But this here, right?
Oh,
this is literally goes back to the 60s, right?
Yep.
And this is from the Batman TV show.
Yes, sir.
This is shot. Where's the shot? What is this?
That's the Warner Brothers backlot. I got to give a huge shout out to my friend Randy Shanofsky, who is a retired camera operator for Warner Brothers for 40 years. But he called in a favor, and he got me and my daughter on, and we were walking around Warner Brothers like we own the place. We didn't do the whole tour on the trolley and all that. We walked around like we worked there, and we were all over the place. And I was ready. Like I had so much stuff, but yeah, man, that whole facade is still the same. And
you know this.
So much history there. It's ridiculous.
This facade in front of like the court building thing is probably in 150. Every movie you see from the 60s and 70s, 80s, where they're like going into court or is shot on these stairs right here.
Yeah. And it was a cool moment for like my daughter too, I have to say, because we're walking around and you see like the tours of all the people going back and forth. And me and Randy and her are just walking around, like I said, like we worked there. And like you hear, like there was like some teenage girls, like, oh, who's that girl? Like, who's that girl? Like they thought maybe like my daughter was like some famous actress or something like that, which made her feel cool. You know what I mean? Like little moments like that, like you can't duplicate. Like those are memories, dude. So it's like, yeah, I hit that spot, but like all the stuff that doesn't get posted or really spoken about is what makes all these trips awesome. You know, when you go with somebody, especially like your kid. It's like core memories, you know what I mean?
You know, another thing about the Warner Brothers back lot is You look in this direction, you get that. You
Yup.
look in another direction, you get this.
Bro, that's Tenement Alley. That has not been changed. So much stuff has been filmed there. Obviously, there's no explanation needed for that. But that staircase up above, like that's the same one as in the Annie movie where they're singing "It's a Hard Knock Life." That's in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. There's that what's that Tom Cruise movie where he's a samurai? There's
The Last Samurai?
The Last Samurai. I hit a spot from that too. I have that. But so much stuff is right there. Gremlins, like the Mogwai shop in Gremlins is like 10 feet back.
And if you look beyond there, you see what's going on in the back of the lot. It still looks fantastic.
Yeah, and that spot is so small, dude. Like you would never think. It's like it's like 100 feet long, and it's like 100 things have been filmed there, and you don't even realize it.
It's all camera angles, man.
It's all camera angles, and it's like just standing there. It's like, dude, this is the Purple Rain staircase. Right, that's crazy. I went inside, like you see where what's her face? Apollonia is standing in the doorway. I went inside that doorway, and there's nothing in there. It's just framework. It's just a facade. This
one made me laugh. You know, being a kid growing up back then. This one's pretty
I know what
cool.
you're pulling up.
The Rice-A-Roni.
Bro, how do you not do that?
I mean, like,
bro, I'm in San Francisco, and if you see in the back behind the trolley, that's actually Alcatraz Island. So it's easy to get, you know what I mean? But I'm like, the first thing, I'm showing my age, the first thing you think San Francisco, Rice-A-Roni, the San Francisco treat. I'm like, I'm going to be stupid. And I started watching old Rice-A-Roni commercials on YouTube.
We're going deep, man.
Yeah, bro. So I did a screenshot. I'm like, yo, we're here anyway. Might as well just stand in the middle of the street and get my angle. And there's the stupid Rice-A-Roni commercial just to be, why not?
And then why
it doesn't all have to be serious. It could just be, it's all about fun.
And while you're in San Francisco, it's a given. It's mandatory. You have to go to the Grateful Dead house, right?
100%.
Yeah. That's 15 it's on the corner. It's Haight-Ashbury, but it's
Haight-Ashbury.
15 Haight Street or something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There's a Grateful Dead house.
Yep.
I went to the Pacific Heights house, that movie with Michael Keaton.
Sure.
And Melanie Griffith, something like that. Went to that house. I went to a house where Charles Manson lived for a little while, way before the murders, on Cole Street. Alcatraz, Rice-A-Roni. Yeah, I hit a bunch in San Francisco.
You know, Eddie, Oakland represent. Eddie Medina says we were talking about the Warner Brothers back lot. Yeah, it's where Pee-wee runs into the twist
spot too.
I love that's a funny scene in that movie where he's on the car. That's
I
really
hit that
funny.
scene. I also got the scene where in that movie where Pee-wee like swings across the vine on his bike over the lake. Yeah. I got that shot. All that stuff is on the Instagram and on the Delta Bravo Urban Exploration group page on Facebook. And you can just search through the group. Oh, I got all that stuff. And on my personal page too. You send me a friend request. I don't care.
Here's an interesting one because this has got to be a really deep dive, right? This is from Pulp Fiction, and
dude, that's the pawn shop.
Yeah. So this is still there?
That's still there. It's the same carpet. I walked in there and they buzzed you in. I should have sent you some more because the shelves are all exactly the same since 1994. The owner of the place takes so much pride in the fact that it was filmed there.
That's awesome.
He loved it. He loves it. I walked in and I had no idea. So I'm like, listen, if I buy something, it's a real pawn shop. So I'm like, if I buy something, can I take some pictures because of Pulp Fiction? He's like, yeah, sure, if you buy something. I was like, all right, I have another stupid question. Because I had pictures of like the whole GIMP scene and all that stuff. I'm like, can I go into the basement? He's like, it wasn't filmed here. I'm like, really? He's like, no. He's like, there's no basements in California because of earthquakes. I'm like, holy shit, that makes sense. And he even showed me the back. So I was prepared to get that whole thing. But so I wound up buying.
Lenny said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, -2 points for the Line 6 guitar amp to the left.
Yeah, but plus 2 points for the Wollensack reel-to-reel on the top left.
Dude,
That's a good one.
And like I hit other spots from it where he first gets the samurai sword, and all of the shelves on the wall. Obviously, there's different items on the shelves, but all the shelves have not moved since they filmed it. So everything is lined up like perfect.
That's awesome.
I wound up buying for like $50. It was a silver piece dollar, and I got it all. So it's like, that's from the Pulp Fiction porn.
This is an obvious one. I think. Did you grab this off the New York Hardcore Chronicles page, the Ramones picture? Because I posted that.
Probably.
Yeah. So
I think I did. I stole it from you.
It's okay. It's what it's there for.
Park.
But this is an interesting shot. This is the Ramones at the Arch at Washington Square Park. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yep. And I had to look. It's like, all right, which side are they on? Blah, blah, blah. But then you could see on the left-hand side how those people's balconies on the houses line up.
Yeah.
So it's that side.
Wow, we got through all these pictures. Pretty amazing. You know what? We're gonna just a couple more.
No problem.
I think this one speaks to our love for the true crime and tragedy stuff. But tell us what this is.
That was another unforgettable thing. That's in Waco, obviously, the Branch Davidian compound. I actually have a piece of burnt up, twisted sheet metal from that actual compound in my living room. They were closed that day. It's called the Mount Carmel Memorial Center now. And I went there, and they're closed on Sundays and Mondays. And it's not like anyone would think it is. There's a couple of people that live there, and it's not like David Koresh, stronghold anymore. But I went there, and they were closed. But I'm like, there's no way I'm walking away from here. I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I need to get on here. So my friend Kevin, who does this stuff, was there like a couple of months before, and he gave me a name to drop. So I'm like, okay. So I get there, and there's like a 5-foot stone wall with gates and cameras and shit, and there's a sign on the gate that says like, once you enter, Danny, wake up. Once you enter this premises, like, we are not responsible for you, your pets, your car, nothing. We're not responsible for anything that happens to you. So it's crazy. So I stand up on the top of the wall now, and my big Brooklyn mouth, I'm like, I start screaming, hello, across this thing, because I see like this little makeshift building and a vehicle. So I'm like, someone is here. And then you could hear a cricket fart from fucking 10 miles away over there. So long story short, a guy comes down. He's driving down the long friggin' dirt road. And I drop his name. I'm like, I don't have his contact information, but Pastor Charles Pace. I was like, can I see him? And he's like, yeah, he's here. Give me a couple of minutes. I'll see if you can come on. I'm like, okay. So he disappears. He comes back. He's like, him and his wife said you can come on the property. I'm like, all right, cool. You want me to get in your car? Should I follow you? He's like, no, follow me. I was like, all right, that's cool. I don't want to get in your car. I don't know what the hell I'm getting into. So it's like 7 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning, bro. I have a couple in my hand, and I walk into. They built this small makeshift church on the actual original concrete foundation, and I'm in there, and bro, it was like a horror movie. I'm talking with this guy, and then here comes Charles Pace. He's in a wheelchair with one leg and blind in one eye. And I start talking to him. And in the back of my head, I'm like, how the hell am I on the Branch Davidian compound right now?
Right.
But he was super cool. He's like, I gave like $20 like to donate to whatever. And he was like, he even asked me, he's like, do you have a podcast? I'm like, I do, but I'm not here to do that. And he's like, but I'll tell you everything that really went on here, this, that, and the other thing. And then this picture right here, he's like, he actually showed me. He wheeled out of that little, that building is that little church. So we come out of that building, and he's like, do you see that gray, mark? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you know what that is? I'm like, I have no idea. He's like, we tried to pressure wash it, everything. He's like, that's embedded ash from the inferno, from the compound going up in flames.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Yeah, but he let us walk. We let us walk around. I took a bunch of pictures. I took a couple little rocks. I found like a burnt up piece of friggin' sheet metal that was kind of embedded in the ground, like halfway underneath the original foundation. What are you pulling up? I have a feeling. Oh, you can't really see it too good, but he pointed this out too. Those are on the steps going to that in-ground pool that you just pulled up. And if you look, it says DK92. So that's David Koresh's autograph in the wet cement. I took that picture. Like, this is insane, bro. I just got chills just talking about it. It was surreal to be there, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
true crime. It's history. And just to be there and just remember in my head of watching that happen on the news and just to actually be there and talk to these people was an experience, bro. And that's the whole reason why I do it. Get the hell out of here and go somewhere different, man.
Absolutely.
You know, me, I'm a little bit of a psycho. I pay money to go on these crazy road trips and hotels and this and that. But no matter where you are, I guarantee if you do a little bit of research, something happened in your area. Jump in a car and go on a road trip. Everyone has a phone, so you can take your pictures and you do whatever.
Let's finish it up with these two in the Aquarian age spirit.
Let's do it.
This is,
Joe Cocker at Woodstock.
By the way, it's not Joe Cocker. That's John Sebastian.
Really?
Yeah, Joe Cocker. Joe Cocker played with a full band.
Yeah, but that's only but you don't see the whole band. That's just a little small show.
No, that's John Sebastian, bro. That is John Sebastian. He played solo. John Sebastian played solo acoustic at Woodstock.
Really? All right. Well, I appreciate that.
That is John Sebastian playing solo acoustic at Woodstock. So, but this is a cool shot, and lined it up nice. And I really like the other one. This one.
The album cover?
I've never seen that lined up like that. That one is really cool.
Iconic, dude.
I really like this one a lot.
I was with Alago. Yep. Yeah. I was with Michael Alago when I did that.
Is that right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this
Alago went up there and we did a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, man. I wanted to do that. Like, I've been up there. My parents had a house. Okay, Lenny. All right, it's John Sebastian.
Leave it to Lenny.
Hey, listen. That's cool. But my parents had a summer house exactly 2 miles from the original Woodstock site. So I've been to the Woodstock site a million times. And I've been there like maybe 2 or 3 times before I actually got this actual shot. But I was with Alago that day. We did a whole bunch of stuff that day.
Where's my Tristan Woodstock picture? Here we go. This one makes me laugh. Wait, hold on. You go to Woodstock. You gotta do these. But here's Tristan DeGraves from Incendiary Device. I love this. This picture every once in a while this one always makes me laugh. This is like standard operating procedure. If you go to the old Yasgur's farm, and you have your instrument in the car, you gotta drag it out and take this shot.
That's awesome. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course you gotta do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, man.
That's
that shot of the Woodstock thing is basically right behind him, all the way to the back, behind.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
Ever get in a scary scenario?
Yeah.
Not really. A lot of times, listen, a lot of this stuff, if it's weird. If you have like a cup of coffee in your hand and a smile and you approach somebody, all of a sudden their guard gets put down. And like if I've went up to people that I obviously don't know, and I'm like, listen, this is what I do. And a lot of times they're like, wow, like I didn't even know that happened here. Sure, like that's awesome. And I'll show them this stuff. They're like, wow, that's such a cool idea. I didn't know that people do this. The only scary situation was a small one, and it was actually right here in Coney Island. I think I was doing it's so stupid. I was doing a screenshot from like a Salt and Pepper video. And I'm on like Mermaid Avenue in front of like a bodega, and I'm standing up and I'm taking pictures, and there's another bodega right across the street where a couple of people were standing outside, and they looked at me and they were like, yo, and they started yelling up and down the block. Like, so may or may not have been like a little bit of drug activity happening, and there's me taking random pictures of stuff. But that was, other than that, like I was never, no. I almost got trapped behind a fence one day. That was in Austin where I had to hop a fence to get the water tower of Leonardo DiCaprio climbing the water tower.
Oh, Gilbert Grape.
And that whole thing is in a fence, so I had to climb over the fence. and the fence was super rickety and whatever. But getting back over was a little bit of an ordeal. But it's scary, not really. But like, oh man, am I going to be trapped in here? Like, are there going to be dogs coming out? Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, so I got DiCaprio line, climbing up the water tower from Gilbert Grape. But,
well, that said, you have to keep at it, and we have to get back together because I have some locations. We could do Onyx, some of the Onyx stuff. We could do. I got another couple spots, so we could do that. And you keep at it. You have to come back on the show. This was a lot of fun today. This is
man.
This is about as much fun. This is about as much fun as I thought it would be.
Yeah, man. Of course, I appreciate you coming on, man. And just to anybody that's watching or listening, if you're interested in this stuff, like, there's no reason why you can't do it. You know what I mean? It like I said, it gives me a reason to get away, and it's a road trip. You just see different things. Listen, not every state that I've been to is awesome, but I've been to places where I would definitely go back to. You'll find yourself like in some weird diner on the side of some weird highway in a weird state, and you'll have like the greatest breakfast you've ever had in your life. You know what I mean? You just got to go with somebody that doesn't complain, and just have fun, man. Just get out of here and just see. Some people don't leave their neighborhood. It's like, it doesn't take a lot of money, man. It's really, I mean, it could, but it doesn't have to. You take a car ride with somebody, you drive 3 hours away, you spend a night in some dirty hotel or whatever. And like, history is all around us. All you got to do is look, and it's true. Like New York City, it's a playground. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of things. I have like 400 pictures in my phone alone of just in the 5 boroughs that I still need to hit. And I've hit just about 3,000 different spots.
Well, you have a passion for it, and it's infectious. So
it's great, man.
Let's keep doing it, and in a couple of months we'll do another a part 2. Is there anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to thank?
Jesus Christ! Shout out to Danny Boy O'Connor first and foremost, because without him accidentally finding the Outsider's house, the Delta Bravo team wouldn't exist. So that's first and foremost. All the guys that I do, all the active guys that do all this Delta Bravo stuff, like Rayan and Danny Johnson and Andrew Katz and all these guys, Dominic DeMeo, especially because I met him doing this stuff. He's hooked me up with his father. He's editing my book, which is kind of a crazy scenario. I don't know if my daughter's gonna watch this. I'm dad, but my daughter, because she's down to do all this stuff, she finds spots and asks me to go and let's find this stuff. So she's a trooper. So my daughter for being like my sidekick, you obviously for having me on, dude. And listen, just my friends, and it's just my friends. But you know who you are. You know who you are.
My pleasure. It's what I do.
Peace and shout out to all my haters. I love you as well.
Keep hating.
Yeah, keep hating. It just makes me do better things than you'll ever do. That's all.
There you go. All right. Let's talk soon, Jimmy. Thank you.
100%, dude. Anytime.
All right. Good night.
Much care. Respect, bro.
All right. There you have it. Jimmy Ferrari. That was great. Delta Bravo Urban Exploration Team. It was, like I said, it was as much fun as I thought it was going to be. We could have gone on for a couple more hours. We'll bring Jimmy back in a couple months when he's got some more stuff. But it was a nice, enjoyable, calm Wednesday show. And I appreciate you stopping by, and I appreciate you supporting the show. Keep in mind, there is no show on Sunday because we are down at the Bowery Electric for the Big Banger. If you are in New York City, this is mandatory attendance. Please come on down, and we will see you a week from Sunday on January 26th for Mark Haggerty. So thanks a lot, everybody. Until next time, do good things, and good things will come.
Conditioned by indoctrination, conditioned by society. You're a victim of the digital age, a 21st century casualty.